Chapter 1287. Outside the huge axe shrine, at the long stone table, the Creator and the 19 Universe Lords gathered. We are here for two reasons. 1. To welcome Luo Feng and celebrate his safe return. The Creator's gaze swept around, his voice powerful. 2. Is to discuss humanity's rise in the universe ocean plan. Rise. Hearing these words, including Luo Feng, the primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord, Void Gold Lord, Desolate Mirror Lord and others, they all held their breaths in excitement. Yes. It was time to rise. The human race could be considered a peak race in the primeval universe, but in the vast cosmic sea, they were very weak. If it was in the first or second Samsara era, a race like the human race, which only had one strongest person in the universe, would not have the qualifications to stand among the peak races. The holy-eyed race had 7 of the strongest people in the universe. Even the peak races of the first and second reincarnation era had 3 to 5 strongest people in the universe. The only thing humanity had was the huge axe. Their individual strength was extremely strong. The other universe lords' strength, numbers etc., were all very weak in the universe ocean. This rise in the universe ocean plan. The Creator was filled with excitement and anticipation. Milky Way leader Luo Feng will lead, everyone else will cooperate. We must let our human race give birth to more undyings, more universe venerables, more universe lords, and even more of the strongest in the universe. Yes. 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 All of them responded resoundingly. Humanity's group of universe lords were filled with anticipation for the future, they were all filled with energy. And they had also heard Luo Feng's lecture. They were very clear on how good the ancient civilization system was. It would definitely allow humanity's strength to constantly change. And Luo Feng was the one who understood the ancient civilization the most, and was also the inheritor of the Duandong River. Him being the leader was the most suitable. If someone who didn't understand the ancient civilization came, it would be a complete joke. Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood up and looked around. I will definitely give it my all. Let humanity truly dominate the universe ocean. Become the universe ocean's #1 power. Dominate the universe ocean. Including the primal Chaos City leader and the Creator, they were all shaken within, much less the other universe lords. All of them felt their blood boil. As the saying goes, a soldier who doesn't want to be a general isn't a good soldier. Of the close to 100 powers in the universe ocean, which one of them didn't want to become the universe ocean's #1? But that was all he dared to imagine. In the past, who would have had the confidence to say such words? He didn't even dare to say it. No confidence. Even when the primordial ancestor was still around, he was the only one who was strong. He had never mentioned that the human race would dare to dominate the cosmic sea and become the #1 power. After all, in terms of strength, compared to the 2 sacred lands, the difference was really too great. The 2 sacred grounds had hundreds of universe lords each. Including Luo Feng, there were only 19 humans. And there were also quasi-universe lords. This was all because the sacred land universe had a limit and was unable to provide God energy for them to break through. Hence, even if the 2 sacred lands lost some universe lords, they would quickly be replenished. In terms of supreme treasures, the 2 saint lands had quite a few rank 6 lords of the universe. The human race was gone. Before this, even the Creator of the giant axe didn't have an ultimate treasure, but fortunately, he managed to get his hands on a divine axe. In the future, we humans will produce close to 1,000 masters of the universe and dozens of the strongest experts in the universe. Even the 2 sacred lands are inferior to us humans. The great axe Creator's voice was powerful. Regardless of how far we can go, we are all heroes of our race. Work hard, everyone, for the future of humanity. For humanity. For humanity. The universe lords all let out excited roars, their hearts trembling. trembling because this goal was too big, so big that they didn't dare say it before. They didn't have any confidence. However, now that Luo Feng had acquired the inheritance of the Duandong River, this ancient inheritance gave them confidence to become the number one of the universe. See, their human race would benefit from it and would undergo a complete change. After the meeting ended, the other warriors all left, leaving only the creator, Primal Chaos City leader, and Luo Feng. Luo Feng. The creator was filled with anticipation. I'll have to trouble you during this period of time. Everything is for the race, Luo Feng said. Right, for the race. Huge Axe nodded. The reason why he only started after returning was because the inheritance and nurturing of many systems were huge. Just relying on explanations and consciousness transmission to the virtual universe was simply too slow. Secondly, to nurture the future warriors of humanity, they required many items, like origin law engravings, ice mountains, etc. These were all within the inheritance space. Luo Feng had to return to bring them back. This Rise Up plan, one is to nurture our race's own strength. This requires time. The second is the absolute treasures. The creator smiled. You've just returned to the primal universe. When are you preparing to trade with the East Emperor's sacred land? I'm preparing to stay in Primal Chaos City first. I'll settle the nurturing system and the general framework. I estimate it'll take about 10 to 15 days. When that time comes, I'll contact the East Emperor's sacred land. Luo Feng said. Shem. Huge Axe smiled. If I knew you'd get the absolute treasures, I wouldn't have had to risk my life in Qing Feng World. I'm currently rushing back from the core area of Qing Feng World. However, the core area is extremely dangerous. I'll need some time to rush back. Alright, you and your teacher go arrange the nurturing. Huge Axe said. Luo Feng and the Primal Chaos City leader immediately left. Primal Universe, Primal Chaos City. High up in the city leader's residence, Luo Feng and the Primal Chaos City leader stood before the railings. They could easily see the countless structures of Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng, the Rise Up plan is extremely important. The ancient inheritance must not be leaked. The Primal Chaos City leader reminded. The entire nurturing system will be controlled by you. You have to be careful not to leak it. Of course. Luo Feng smiled. As our human race grows stronger and stronger, the other races and powers will naturally guess a little. Hence, I've placed the nurturing system in Primal Chaos City. This is the safest place. No warrior would dare come here. Secondly, even if a spy sees it, he won't be able to copy it. Like the 300 ice mountains I've prepared. Also, according to the talent of the later generation, I'll prepare different nurturing methods. The entire nurturing system was very complicated. Other than a portion that required Luo Feng to prepare, there were many other training methods that were placed in the virtual universe. For this, Luo Feng specially placed 12 memory stones in the virtual universe core of the city leader's residence, to receive the vast amounts of information from the memory stones. Virtual universe, Primal Chaos City. These were the two main nurturing systems. And those who came into contact with the secrets were either the true upper echelon of humanity or the soul slaves, and the secrets they came into contact with were just the tip of the iceberg. Only the ones in the virtual universe knew the true system. Of course, Luo Feng knew the most. Primal Universe, Milky Way, Luo Feng's shrine. I've just returned to the Primal Universe. Luo Feng held his communication tag. North True Star Leader. Don't worry, the trade will proceed very quickly. Luo Feng, quickly come to the virtual universe. The virtual universe received a mail. It was from the Primal Chaos City leader. What's the rush? Luo Feng discovered that the mail from his Primal Chaos City teacher was a rare blood-red mail. This meant it was extremely urgent. Schwa. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island Peak, Primal Chaos City leader's residence. Teacher. Luo Feng appeared and saw the Primal Chaos City leader standing before him. The leader's expression was serious. The moment he saw Luo Feng, he immediately said, Let's go to huge axe. There was no need to explain. Under the illumination of the endless dark starry sky, on this floating continent, figures appeared on the long table in front of the great axe shrine. Luo Feng and the primal Chaos City leader were the first to arrive. Teacher, what's going on? Luo Feng asked. I'll tell you later. The primal Chaos City leader said seriously. Luo Feng, however, let out a sigh of relief. From the looks of it, even though the matter was important, it was still within his control. Otherwise, his teacher wouldn't have to wait for the Universe Lords to arrive. Very quickly, the 19 Universe Lords all arrived. Hua! A silhouette appeared from thin air, sitting in the main seat. It was the huge axe creator. Gentlemen! The creator of the great axe swept his gaze across the 19 Universe Lords. They all looked over. They had all been summoned, and they were all extremely anxious. I've met with trouble. The creator looked at the 19 pinnacle beings of humanity, saying solemnly, I've met with trouble in the core area of the pinnacle world. During the battle with Yuan Ao Lord, the map that was leaked, it should be fake. The map is fake? Luo Feng was shocked. Back then he personally went out, and with the help of the Ice Peak leader, he managed to get a portion of the map. It was a setup. The creator of the giant axe said solemnly, however, they probably didn't expect my strength, so they suffered a great loss. However, in the battle, I was very unlucky and fell into the dark land of the core area. Dusk lands. Including Luo Feng, they all revealed looks of shock and rage. Humanity's most detailed map was shared, and it was mainly given by Luo Feng. Naturally, they were very clear. The Dusk Lands was an extremely terrifying region in the core area of the Pinnacle world. Compared to it, the Universe Boat Inner Region's Flame Ice Region, God Annihilating Stream etc. were simply child's play. One had to know that any random place in the core area was much more terrifying than the Flame Ice Region. Not to mention the infamous Dusk Land in the core area. Its danger, even though it was terrifying, was only considered average in the core area. However, as long as one fell into the Dusk Lands, no one ever came out. It was a hopeless prison. Dusk Lands, even though the strongest of the universe fell into it, I've never heard of anyone ever coming out. The creator's gaze swept and emphasized, however, there were very few who fell into the Dusk Lands. The numbers don't mean anything. Secondly, I'm different from the other strongest in the universe. I'm currently trapped in the Dusk Lands. I can't leave for now. However, as long as I don't spread it, no one will know. I need time to slowly think of a way out. During this period, our human race has to be more low profile. The creator emphasized, the ancestor has been suppressed, I'm trapped, the human race temporarily doesn't have the strongest in the universe watching over it. This is very dangerous, we can't let this information leak out. Yes. Yes. All of them replied. Everyone was clear on the severity of the situation. Without the strongest in the universe watching over it, it would be troublesome. I'm going all out right now, I can't afford to be distracted. If there's nothing important, don't contact me. The creator said seriously, after which he vanished. In front of the huge axe shrine, the 19 highest beings of humanity sat at the long table. They glanced at each other, filled with worry. That was the Dusk Lands. Trapped in the Dusk Lands, if the creator was never able to return, what would they do? Without the strongest in the universe watching over it, the human race would meet with many problems. The news of the huge axe being trapped cannot be leaked. The primal Chaos City leader said, this news is top secret. Luo Feng and the others all nodded seriously. Suddenly, just as the primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord, Luo Feng and the others were feeling anxious, suddenly, the creator's silhouette appeared once more at the long table. His eyes were filled with shock and rage. He roared, remember, don't come to the Dusk Lands, don't come. Rumble. The silhouette vanished. Hua. Luo Feng and the 19 stood up fiercely. They felt something was amiss. What's up? What did the creator encounter? Why did he vanish after just one sentence? All of them panicked. Within a few seconds, the Void Gold Lord's expression was filled with fear. He said, "The huge axe's mini-universe has already begun to collapse. The huge axe has fallen. The universe is collapsing. The huge axe has fallen." They were all stunned. Luo Feng, the primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord and the others all stood there, completely stunned by this sudden news. This was bad news. It was bad news for the entire human race. Luo Feng, the primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord, Void Gold Lord, Peng Gong Lord, Yu Ho Lord, Qing Dong Lord, they all had looks of worry, rage and fear in their eyes. Humanity's only remaining strongest in the universe had actually fallen. Humanity's skies had really collapsed. This chapter, The Strongest Who Fell, has ended. Tomorrow Tomato will stop writing for a day and prepare for the next one. Naturally, there won't be a break on Saturday. The day after tomorrow, there will be a new update. ***, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1288. Battleaxe Universe was one of the two small universes owned by humanity. Because the progenitor had been suppressed long ago, the primal universe's evolution wasn't complete. There weren't many humans living in the primal universe. Most of them were absolute geniuses and experts. And the Battleaxe universe had long since evolved. There were many more normal beings living there. What's going on? The sky is cracking. Within one of the dimensions of the Battleaxe universe, the many clansmen of the Battleaxe Coliseum, as well as the many elites who had been absorbed, were all shocked and panicking. The originally calm and beautiful sky was now filled with malevolent cracks, and the heavens and earth began to collapse. Space itself began to tremble, and from time to time, spatial cracks would appear. Some unlucky humans were affected by the spatial cracks, and some lost half of their bodies, while others were completely annihilated. Huge fissures appeared on the ground. Quick, gather, don't run around alone. An Emperor Undying stood in mid-air, his face filled with anxiety. Following which, he teleported and kept batches of humans into his world ring. In this dimension, a total of 12 paragons, 399 Emperor Undying that could teleport, were quickly collecting the important elites of the human race, and Hong was one of them. Junior brother, the dimension is starting to collapse. Hurry and bring the elites away, then gather in the main dimension. Quick! Hong's mind was still reverberating with his senior brother, who had the highest position in this dimension, and was also the personal disciple of the creator of the Battleaxe universe, Iron Wall Paragon. Yes, Hong replied. He was also teleporting rapidly, keeping large amounts of elites into his world ring. However, Hong was anxious, worried, terrified, and in chaos. The token teacher gave me to ask for help, actually became ownerless. Hong was shocked. He felt like the sky was collapsing. This was given to me by teacher, it has his life imprint, but now it's ownerless. And this small universe is teacher's small universe. Now that the entire universe is starting to collapse, could it be teacher has really fallen? Hong was anxious. He was very clear how important his teacher, the creator of the Battleaxe universe, was to the human race. He was the strongest human in the universe. He was the true pillar of the human race. But now, this pillar that supported the heavens was broken and collapsed. They fled in panic. Hong and the others had just collected the most important human elites into their world rings. Many of the less important family members were only halfway through when the order arrived. Hurry to the main space. If you delay any longer, you won't be able to leave. Hurry. Everything. Quick. Give an order. The universe paragons and titled emperors and Undying looked at the collapsing humans unwillingly. Those humans were shouting, "Save us! Save us, the Novantians! Take us with you! Take my child, take her with you!" But amidst the cries of despair, the titled Undying and Universe Paragons didn't dare to hesitate at all, because their world rings contained the important elites of the Battle-Axe Colosseum lineage. If they hesitated, the elites they brought along and themselves would probably never be able to leave. Schwa, schwa, schwa. In the collapsing space, Hong and the others escaped one after another and arrived at the main space. A few seconds later, the collapse extended to the teleportation channel. Upon entering the main space, Hong and the others saw three majestic silhouettes. It was the Master of Void Gold, Master of Mist Hidden, and the Ancestor Tree Paragon. Quick, quick! The Master of Void Gold and Master of Mist Hidden were both Universe Lords of the Battle-Axe Colosseum. The Ancestor Tree Paragon was also a top Universe Overlord. Even if the small universe collapsed and the primal chaos energy from the Universe Sea seeped in, they could still survive. But many Universe Paragons and Undyings couldn't survive in the environment of the Universe Sea. Enter. Everyone gather. The Master of Void Gold ordered loudly. At the same time, he teleported again and again, collecting the titled Undyings and Universe Paragons. Hong and the others had just arrived in the main space and were quickly collected by the Master of Void Gold into his world ring. They felt the world change, the scenery before them changed, and everything returned to normal. On the vast plains, there stood a human, either an Undying or an Emperor, or a Universe Paragon. 1,000 of them were gathered here, but their eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. Obviously they hadn't recovered from the shock yet. Junior brother, Iron Wall Paragon stood at the side, looking at Hong and transmitting. The item teacher gave you, have there been any changes? Hong nodded. It's an ownerless item. Yours too. Iron Wall Paragon's expression was ugly. Don't tell me teacher really. Teacher is so strong, he's the strongest in the universe. The various spaces of the mini-universe, including the main space, are starting to crumble. Hong's face was ashen. Teacher, he, and the crumbling huge axe within the main space of the mini-universe. The Master of Void Gold, the Master of Mist Hidden, and the Ancestor Tree Paragon stood in mid-air. In the distance, the membrane of the mini-universe had already started to crack. The primal chaos energy from the Universe Sea had started to seep in. This was the purest energy, unlike the primal chaos energy in the primal universe. Quick, let's go to the other spaces and see if we can save more people. The Master of Void Gold ordered. Yes. Let's go. The three of them immediately split up, teleporting to different spaces. Due to the urgency of the situation, when they gave the order, they first saved the elites. These elites were the elites picked from the primal universe and brought here to be nurtured. They had huge potential, hence they saved them first before saving the other families. These families were all the families of the huge Axe Colosseum's Universe Lords, or the Paragon's families. Rumble. The entire enormous continent that was 100 billion kilometers in diameter began to split apart and collapse. Enormous spatial shards began to break apart, and within these spatial shards were some continents. There were even some humans struggling on these continents. When they saw the towering Lord of Void Gold appear, they were instantly incomparably excited. The Master of Void Gold teleported forward, charging into the many shards and saving batches of people. Virtual Universe, Independent Plane. On the two sides of the long table in front of the huge axe shrine, many Universe Lords sat down. All of them had a solemn expression. Every Universe Lord could feel the formless and terrifying pressure. Void Gold, how's the situation in the huge Axe universe? The Primal Chaos City Master asked. The Master of Void Gold sighed. We only managed to protect the Undyings, the Paragons, and the important batch of geniuses and elites. As for the large amount of humans, the trillions of humans from the various families, we only managed to protect a portion of them. Me, Mist Hidden, and the Ancestor Tree Paragon are still saving them. We should still be able to save them. However, that's just a small batch. As long as we can save the elites, that's good. The Primal Chaos City Master nodded. The huge axe universe is beginning to crumble. Hence, the deaths of these few humans are just a very small loss to the entire human race. However, if we don't handle it well, the losses in the future will be tens of thousands of times, hundreds of millions of times. Luo Feng and the others were all trembling. Right. In the future, what would they do? Without a doubt, huge axes fall will have a catastrophic effect on our human race. The Primal Chaos City Master said solemnly, the map back then was fake. Just who set it up? And why huge axe fell so quickly in the dusky land? These are all mysteries. I know, everyone wants to understand, even to take revenge for huge axe. However, for the human race, all of this has to be thrown to the back of our minds. Finding the culprit and taking revenge is a matter for the future. Does everyone understand? The Primal Chaos City Master looked at the Universe Lords present. Understood. Right now, the most important thing is the fate of humanity. Even though we want to understand, we don't have enough power right now. Even if we find out it's the strongest of the universe, we can't do anything about it. The Universe Lords all nodded. They were the highest echelons of humanity. Before, with the creator of huge axe above them, shielding them from the wind and rain, many things were easy. However, now that the creator had fallen, there was no one above them anymore. They could only rely on the 19 Universe Lords to deal with it. Hence, they had to think from the perspective of the entire human race. The Primal Chaos City Master saw this and let out a sigh of relief. At such a crucial time, unity was very important. Huge axes fall. The Primal Chaos City Master emphasized. The collapse of the small universe. Many within the human race know about this. The other races, like the Bug Clan, Automaton Clan, Demon Clan, etc., all have spies within our race. I believe it won't be long before they find out about this. What's more, in the Cosmic Sea, the warriors roam about there. I'm afraid they'll quickly find out that the huge axe small universe has already begun to collapse. They all nodded seriously. They all understood. The human race was so huge, some spies were purely soul-controlled, not to mention the fact that they couldn't completely isolate the news. Just speaking of the Cosmic Sea, the huge axe small universe had begun to collapse. It wouldn't be long before the Universe Lords personally discovered it. The moment they saw it, the entire Cosmic Sea would understand. The creator of the huge axe had fallen. The strongest of the universe, their influence on the race is huge. They can control vast areas, appearing in many places in a short time, and revive the overlords of the universe. The Primal Chaos City Master emphasized, without the strongest of the universe, the race can't even defend themselves well. The important territories our human race occupies, how could the other races not be jealous? Bug Clan, Demon Clan, Automaton Clan, humans, the four great races were all in the best regions of the entire universe. The life forms born in these regions all had even greater potential. Just like the Mountain Traveler's barren region, it had no way to nurture life forms with potential. The logic was like that, even though the primal universe was vast, some regions could produce more warriors, others couldn't. Hence, there was competition. The top 4 clans occupied the 4 best places. Not to mention the competition of the territories, it's never stopped throughout the countless years. The Primal Chaos City Master emphasized, just talking about Luo Feng's inheritance of the Broken East River, it was fine with Huge Axe. However, now that Huge Axe has fallen, who wouldn't covet the inheritance of the Broken East River? Hence, we have to make preparations for war. Everyone remember, when Huge Axe falls, our human race has already been forced to enter another era, an even more dangerous era. The Primal Chaos City Master emphasized. A new chapter had begun. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1289. The universe lords present all had serious expressions on their faces. It was obvious. They couldn't hide it anymore. If the creator of the huge axe was trapped in the Dusklands, it would be fine as long as the upper echelon didn't leak it out. However, right now the huge axe's mini-universe was collapsing. This was something they couldn't hide. A race without the strongest in the universe, yet occupying the best territory of the primal universe, also possessing the most precious inheritance in the universe. See, who wouldn't be jealous? Who wouldn't be moved? Bug clan, demon clan, automaton, countless years had passed. Their battles with the humans had never stopped. When the huge axe was around, it was so. Now that the axe was gone, would the three pinnacle races show mercy? We are no longer the human race of the past. The primal Chaos City leader's gaze swept. We no longer have the protection of the strongest in the universe. The severity of the situation, everyone knows. What do we do now? War will definitely erupt. The always smiling Ping worker leader no longer had a smile on his face. He said seriously, "This is for sure. And this war won't be the small skirmishes from before, it's a true race annihilation war. Hence, no matter what, we have to preserve the seeds of our race. No matter what, we have to prepare for failure." Right. They all nodded. For a war that involved the annihilation of the race, one had to prepare for failure before even fighting. We have to look after the next generation. The Master of the Void Gold said directly, especially the next generation with great potential living in the territories. Swiftly gather all the universe levels, domain lords and sector lords from the 1008 universe countries, and bring them to the primal universe. More importantly, all the undyings and knights must be brought there. These undyings are the accumulation of our human race over countless years, relying on the Milky Way leaders' ancient civilization to nurture them. Our large amounts of undyings can definitely nurture a group of universe knights and even universe lords. Right. The undyings accumulated over countless years, we have to bring them all. They all nodded. Undyings were useless in a race annihilation war. However, they could give birth to universe knights and even universe lords. Humanity's territory is vast. The number of normal citizens is uncountable. The Void Gold Lord continued. To bring all of them away isn't realistic. And even if there is a true war, all the life planets have humans, like the Bug Clan and Automaton Clan. They won't kill the normal humans. Luo Feng nodded. This was common sense. In the race annihilation war, the super-existences fought fiercely against each other. At most, they couldn't help but affect the ordinary humans, but they wouldn't deliberately slaughter them on a large scale. Because if one side slaughtered, then the other side could also slaughter. And the most normal humans, monsters, etc., as long as they released a large amount of humans from the god countries of the Undyings and scattered them across the life planets, in 100 or 1,000 years, they would be able to swiftly reproduce. Therefore, as long as there were a large number of humans living in the Divine Kingdom or the World Ring as seeds, they could quickly reproduce, and it wouldn't affect the race much. The real impact was in the territory. Only with territory could humans with potential be nurtured. The most troublesome thing right now is that we are too weak. The Lord of Darkness said in a low voice, "In our race, Primal Chaos, Peng Gong, and I are considered to be at the pinnacle of the Fifth Order. We can fight against the strongest experts in the universe, but we can only protect ourselves. We can't even restrain the other party. If the strongest experts in the universe want to leave, they can leave quickly. They are not restricted by the laws of the universe. In the entire war, we will be at a disadvantage." "There's something I haven't said yet," the Primal Chaos City Master said. All of them immediately turned to look at Chaos. "Luo Feng, you speak." The Primal Chaos City Master looked at Luo Feng, causing the Darkness Lord, Void Gold Lord, Green East Lord, Yuho Lord, Dragon Travel Lord and the others to look. "I'm about to make a trade with the East Emperor's sacred land," Luo Feng said. This matter had to be made public. And it was a crucial time now, it was a good time to raise morale. Trade? Darkness Lord, Pringong Lord, Ice Peak Leader and the others were all curious. This trade will allow our human race to acquire 2 absolute treasures, Luo Feng said seriously, and one of them is a palace-level treasure. 2 absolute treasures? 2. Milky Way Leader, are you sure? Both are absolute treasures? Including the Calm Darkness Lord and Ice Peak Leader, they were all extremely shocked. The other Universe Lords all revealed looks of glee. This was truly a timely help. Before, they felt that their future was bleak. If the human race were to face any of the pinnacle races, they would be at a disadvantage, much less being surrounded. Now that they heard about the absolute treasures, they immediately calmed down. Absolute treasures, known as race protection treasures, the human race's situation would be much better. Right. Luo Feng nodded. This trade will proceed immediately. Inheritance. Darkness Lord suddenly spoke. In a moment of silence, the other Universe Lords looked over too. This ancient civilization was the foundation of humanity's rise. Even though they were currently in a difficult situation, to give away this inheritance, they were still very unwilling. Luo Feng shook his head. Relax, I naturally won't shake the foundation of humanity. This trade was made before the huge axe incident, naturally I won't lose out. All right. The Primal Chaos City leader ordered, don't waste any more time, all the Universe Lords in the Universe Sea and Primal Planet, hurry and return. And our human race, whether it's the dojo, virtual universe, the other 5 branches, or the universe countries, anyway, as long as it's a human, all the undyings must be brought back to the primal universe. The highest level had only decided on a plan. As for the work and detailed plans, naturally it was left to the universe knights and undyings. The meeting ended quickly, the universe lords swiftly left, leaving only Luo Feng and the Primal Chaos City leader. Luo Feng. The Primal Chaos City leader called out to him. Teacher. Luo Feng turned to look. You must be careful. The Primal Chaos City leader emphasized. These 2 absolute treasures are extremely important. Plus you've acquired them from Broken East River. This way, our human race will at least have the ability to resist. As for this trade with the East Emperor's sacred land, we have to be quick. We have to prevent the death of the huge axe creator and the East Emperor's sacred land from having other plans. Luo Feng nodded while thinking. Humanity was weak, almost as though the other races could bully them. The East Emperor's sacred land might really have other plans. Relax, teacher. Luo Feng emphasized. I have the tomb boat, if they want to forcefully take it, they're dreaming. This trade, I have to be tough, I can't back off. Hurry and trade, in case there are any changes. Primal Chaos instructed. Yes, I'll contact the North True Star leader right now. Luo Feng was worried too. Before, the 2 absolute treasures were just icing on the cake for the human race, allowing them to rise up even faster. However, now, the 2 absolute treasures were simply too important to humanity. Earth. Luo family's ancestral home. Luo Hai and Luo Ping. Luo Feng sat in the main seat and shouted, You 2 brothers, immediately bring all the core members of the Luo family with you, bring them into a world with you. Also, in the name of the Pinghai Company and other organizations, you can also bring about 1 trillion or so humans from Earth with you. Dad, this... Luo Hai and Luo Ping were curious. Humanity is about to face a calamity. Luo Feng said directly, Don't ask too much, we'll move first. Yes. Luo Ping and Luo Hai were shocked, after which they didn't dare hesitate. Calamity? Humanity calamity? What kind of status did their father have? He was one of the highest echelons of humanity. Since he said it was a calamity, then it was definitely true. Luo family core members? Earth picking 1 trillion humans? One had to know that through the long years of development, the Luo family's population numbered in the tens of trillions. Earth's population was even more exaggerated than the Luo family's. Hence, picking the core members, Earth's population of 1,000,000,000,000 was obviously to keep the seeds. With the seeds, as long as they had over 1,000 years, they would be able to swiftly return to their previous prosperity. Luo Ping and Luo Hai rushed out and began to mobilize the Luo family's power and began to move. Luo Feng. Su Xian looked at her husband, asking, "What's wrong?" "Huge axe has fallen," Luo Feng said seriously. Su Xian's eyes stared wide. Huge axe? She was Luo Feng's wife. Naturally, she knew the structure of the highest echelons of humanity. She also knew that the strongest human in the universe was only one, the creator of Huge Axe. Huge axes fall? This was indeed a calamity, perhaps even more terrifying. "I'll always be on Earth, after which I'll bring you all to the primal universe," Luo Feng said. He was one of the pillars of humanity, and also the leader of the Earth's bloodline. Just in case, he would bring along the Luo family's core members and the trillions of humans from Earth. As for the ones left behind, even if there was a true war, it wouldn't be too bad for the normal humans. Unless the highest echelons suffered a crushing defeat and were forced to retreat to the primal universe, then the entire human domain would welcome a true extinction of humanity. Crushing defeat? Luo Feng didn't have the confidence to win, but he wouldn't lose to the primal universe. In the vast universe sea, a ship was teleporting forward in the chaotic airflow. Suddenly, in the distance, a broken universe that seemed to be missing half of it appeared in front of it. Within the tomb boat, Luo Feng was looking at the distant world outside. "North True Star Lord, I've arrived." Luo Feng held the communication tablet. He had made the ocean clone return to Earth to arrange everything. As for his Earth body, he naturally immediately entered the universe sea to trade with the East Emperor's sacred land. There was no room for mistakes in this trade. The sooner the better. "Milky Way leader, our East Emperor's sacred land has long arrived," North True Star Lord replied. "Very good." After which, the tomb boat majestically headed towards the broken little universe. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1290. The dilapidated miniature universe. The time it took for it to collapse was calculated in terms of the rebirth times, making it look like a sieve. Other than losing half of it, the walls of the miniature universe were filled with all sorts of large and small holes. The thickness of the chaos energy within was naturally the same as the outside world. The tomb boat flew along a hole in the cosmic membrane, easily passing through and flying in. Within the dilapidated universe, there were still corpses and space fragments floating about. Ever since the founder of the Huge Axe fell, I immediately rushed over from the universe sea. It's been 9 days. Just 9 days, the news shouldn't have leaked out. Luo Feng was within the control hall of the tomb boat, feeling nervous within. This trade was simply too important to humanity, who was currently in a difficult situation. "I hope nothing goes wrong." "Please don't," Luo Feng thought. "Milky Way leader, we've already discovered you, we're on our way." A message came from the communication card. Luo Feng held the card and communicated mentally, "I'll wait for you here." At the same time, he scanned his surroundings. The tomb boat naturally did not pose any obstruction, and he could easily see the outside world. Very quickly, he saw a towering black polygonal sphere in the distance. That black polygonal sphere merely teleported, and with a whoosh, it was already about 10 million kilometers away from the tomb boat. "Milky Way leader, give me the memory stone and I'll give you the 2 absolute treasures," North True Star Leader said. "North True Star Leader, since we've already reached this point, I believe both of us have the sincerity to trade. Let's cut the crap." Following a rumbling sound, the cabin door of the tomb boat actually opened. Luo Feng stood at the cabin door with his stone blade on his back. "I'll be right here. Throw the 2 treasures over and I'll give you the memory stone." Milky Way leader, what if you don't? Suddenly, a crack appeared on the towering black sphere, revealing a passage. The Northern True Star Lord walked out from it. With just a single step, he was already outside the cabin door of the tomb boat. One was within the cabin door. The other was in space outside the cabin door. Both looked at each other. This is a memory stone. Luo Feng held one in his right hand. Trust me and give me the two absolute treasures. Northern True Star Lord looked at Luo Feng before him. At this time, how close was he? He had the urge to strike. However, he was clear that Luo Feng's strength was already strong even before he received the inheritance. In the basic inheritance, he was able to defeat Blood Saint, Deer Bug Lord and the others to become an inheritor. He must have created a secret technique for the strongest experts in the universe. Along with the core inheritance's methods, one-on-one, he probably didn't have the confidence to take down Luo Feng. What's more, Luo Feng was in the cabin. With just a thought, he could close the door. All right. The Northern True Star Lord threw out a world ring. Luo Feng waved his hand and the fiery red ring that seemed to have flames on it landed in his palm. His god energy swiftly imprinted on it and easily entered. Within the world ring, there were two majestic absolute treasures standing in the vast wilderness. One was a black pyramid shape and the other was a huge long rod. That's true, Luo Feng thought. Back when the rules were set, there had to be at least one palace-type absolute treasure. The East Emperor's sacred land didn't dare play any tricks and got this black prison pagoda. However, the other is a simple attack-type absolute treasure. I've never even heard of its existence before. It should be the East Emperor's sacred land's internal storage. Even though he had never seen it before, from the energy alone, it was indeed an absolute treasure. Amongst the absolute treasures, the palace type was naturally extremely precious. The attack type was obviously weaker. This world ring was specially made by the East Emperor's sacred land's ancestor. The Northern True Star Lord smiled. The absolute treasures emit an extremely powerful pressure. Normal world rings would probably crumble under such pressure. Personally made by the ancestor? Luo Feng weighed the ring and nodded. These two absolute treasures. Do you have any other detailed information? Milky Way leader, look at that memory stone. The Northern True Star Lord smiled. Simultaneously, his eyes were staring at the memory stone in Luo Feng's other hand. No problem. Luo Feng casually threw it. Xiao. The memory stone swiftly flew over. The Northern True Star Lord extended his hand and caught it. Only then did he let out a sigh of relief. Do you have any detailed information on these two absolute treasures? Luo Feng looked at the Northern True Star Lord. These two absolute treasures, one is the Black Prison Pagoda. I'm sure Milky Way leader knows about it. The other rod is called Yen Jun. As for the detailed information on them, once they acknowledge you as their owners, you'll naturally know. The Northern True Star Lord said. What are the requirements? Luo Feng asked. The requirements are just a little harsh on willpower. The Northern True Star Lord explained. Black Prison Pagoda, for a universe lord, one has to have the willpower of the universe's strongest. As for the Yen Jun rod, the requirements are still considered normal. The universe lord has to have the pinnacle willpower of the universe lord. The strongest has to have the pinnacle willpower of the universe lord. Luo Feng nodded. From the requirements, one could actually see how precious the treasures were. Even though most of them had requirements on willpower, the requirements were different. The Black Prison Pagoda's requirements were obviously higher than the Yen Jun rod. And killing Wu Yu required the Universe Lord to have the universe's strongest willpower. That was a whole level higher than the Black Prison Pagoda. As for the Star Pagoda, the Star Pagoda's requirements were even more terrifying. Sector Lords required the Universe Lord to have the pinnacle willpower of the Universe Lord to survive. As for the Undying requirements, Luo Feng wasn't too sure. Anyway, mountain passengers said that the Universe Lords and Universe Lords had no chance of acknowledging their owners, and the moment they failed, they would die without a doubt. The requirements were obviously even harsher than the Wu Yue. Even though Luo Feng had seen many treasures and knew of many powerful treasures, there had never been a situation where the owner failed and one had to die. Hence, Luo Feng had always felt that from the strict requirements, the Star Pagoda should be even more terrifying and special. Only up till now, the Star Pagoda was still very normal. He hadn't discovered anything too special. And the power of the Wu Yue was not normal. Even the incomplete Wu Yue was already so strong. Of course, the Wu Yue was a mechanic type. It was already good at explosiveness. It was a pity that he didn't want to use the most important energy source for now. If this memory stone satisfies our East Emperor's sacred land ancestor, we'll have another transaction. The Northern True Star Lord stood in midair, looking at Luo Feng within the cabin door. I hope the Milky Way leader doesn't disappoint our ancestor. Relax, he definitely won't be disappointed, Luo Feng said. The Northern True Star Lord smiled and nodded, following which he turned and took a step, reaching the distant polygonal black ball's entrance. After which, the entire black ball vanished. Obviously he had teleported away. What? Only then did the tomb boat's cabin door close down. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Everything went smoothly without any accident. I've acquired the two powerful treasures. Luo Feng returned to the control hall. Thinking back to the Northern True Star Lord's expression, he wanted to laugh. He could tell, the Northern True Star Lord actually had the urge to make a move. However, without a small universe, the Northern True Star Lord's strength was only average amongst the strongest in the universe. He didn't have the confidence to catch Luo Feng. If you make a move and rush into the tomb boat, I'll close the door and beat the dog. Luo Feng thought. No matter how strong the strongest in the universe was, the moment he entered the tomb boat, he would definitely fall. However, every race knew of the dangers within the tomb boat. Nobody would enter. Virtual Universe, Peak of Thunder Island. The Primal Chaos City leader sat beside a wooden round table. Before him floated a screen, on it large amounts of information. It was all about the recent developments of the human race. Ever since the founder of the huge axe fell, these 9 days, the Primal Chaos City leader had naturally been paying attention to the developments. Right now the entire human race was swiftly bringing large amounts of undyings into the primal universe. However, the human territory was vast. Just gathering them would take a long time. Even with the highest efficiency, using the God Country teleportation etc., not caring about the energy consumption, it would still take a long time. After all, they were too scattered. Teacher. A silhouette walked over. It was Luo Feng. The moment the Primal Chaos City leader saw Luo Feng, his eyes gleamed, asking, "How did it go?" "Everything went smoothly. I've acquired the powerful treasures." Luo Feng smiled. "I've already recognized them. After checking, these two treasures aren't bad. Even though from the requirements they were weaker than Wu Yue. However, no matter how high the level of the treasure, it would only be considered high if it could be used. And to the strongest of the universe, a treasure with 6 levels of engravings and a treasure with 9 levels were the same. Because the extra 3 levels, the strongest of the universe had no hope of controlling them at all. One is the Black Prison Pagoda. Luo Feng smiled. "Teacher, you know the characteristics of the Black Prison Pagoda. It's a true treasure. The other is called the Yanjun Rod. It's an attack-type treasure, and it can also be used as armor." Wielding the Yanjun Rod, the material of the rod would naturally extend and cover the entire body, forming armor. Even though it couldn't compare to a true armor. However, it was still comparable to the level of the Crazy Demon Destroyer armor. The Yanjun Rod relies on strength. Luo Feng explained. It uses an incomparably terrifying gravity to attack. As the God energy activates the engravings, the Yanjun rod will become heavier and more terrifying. The primal Chaos City leader creased his eyebrows, nodding. From the looks of it, without a doubt, the Black Prison Pagoda suits your senior Darkness Emperor. His strength and characteristics are perfect for the Black Prison Pagoda. As for the Yanjun rod, it suits the Pung worker leader even more. Amongst the pinnacle of our human race, only the Pung worker leader is proficient in this type of weapon. Darkness Emperor? Pung worker leader? Luo Feng was stunned. Teacher, Luo Feng said, your strength is publicly acknowledged as the number one in our race. The moment you use it with the ultimate treasures, you'll definitely be at the pinnacle of level 6. That Black Prison Pagoda, teacher, you should have it. And this palace's ultimate treasure, its defense is more important, hence anyone can use it, there's no such thing as suitable or not suitable. Whether it was the primal Chaos City leader's position in the human race or Luo Feng's own feelings, he hoped that the city leader would use this Black Prison Pagoda. He couldn't possibly. The Primal Universe Controller Primal Chaos City leader didn't even have a single ultimate treasure. And Luo Feng, the Pring worker leader and the Darkness Emperor all had their own. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1291. Within the Universe Ocean. In the depths of the endless primal chaos, a tomb ship hovered there. In another direction, a blood-colored pagoda appeared out of thin air. The blood-colored pagoda transformed into a blood-colored stream of light and flew towards the tomb ship. When it got close, it disappeared into thin air. Golden Horned Beast. Within the palace, Luo Feng, who was carrying the stone blade, looked at the golden horned beast before him. As they exchanged glances, their gazes were filled with determination. War! Luo Feng said softly. When the creator of the huge axe fell, Luo Feng was very clear this period of time would be the most important period of time for humanity. The universe lords that were scattered in the universe sea and primal planets all rushed back. The golden horned beast that was sent to retrieve Jiefan Zi's remains in the universe boat naturally had to be recalled. After all, the golden horned beast had the Wu Killer Wings and the Star Pagoda. These were equivalent to two absolute treasures. It was an absolute battle strength, in a battle that would decide the fate of the entire race. Such a battle strength was definitely indispensable. If it's war, my body and the golden horned beast can both fight at the same time. Luo Feng thought. His body had the strongest blood shadow blade in hand. It was suitable for attacking. He could even fight the strongest in the universe one-on-one. The golden horned beast's clone had the Slayer Wu wings. The Slayer Wu wings were imbued with the god's bloodstains, which were extremely effective against normal universe lords. And with the Star Pagoda's protection, it could fight one against 100 in 1,000 two different battle styles. Come, Luo Feng thought. He had long prepared. Maybe in the universe ocean, against the strongest of the universe, he would be at a disadvantage. Because of his god energy, he would be at a disadvantage. However, in the primal universe, there was a limit. The pinnacle of level 6 was already the limit. Every universe's strongest could only unleash that level of strength before being suppressed by the primal universe. The strong suppression made Luo Feng dare to fight even with the blood shadow blade. It was a pity he could only fight. He couldn't delay the opponent. The initiative was with him. After meeting up with the golden horned beast, he sat on the tomb boat and swiftly rushed back to the primal universe. This round trip took a total of 18 days. Primal Universe, Primal Chaos City, within the city leader's residence. Teacher. Luo Feng saw the ferocious clone of the Primal Chaos City leader. I'm back. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. There hasn't been any movement from the other races recently. There hasn't been any news of the huge axe creator's fall, right? Luo Feng asked. Still nothing. The Primal Chaos City Lord nodded. Maybe it's because the time is too short, our race keeps it a secret. Even though a large amount of undyings are moving, if it's the lower levels, they would only feel chaos. Moreover, being able to see the miniature universe of gigantic acts in the cosmic sea also depends on luck. Luo Feng nodded. If one was lucky, perhaps no one would pass through the giant axe universe in 10 or 100 years. If he was unlucky, a certain lord of the universe might pass through the membrane of the primeval universe and discover a small universe. It's best if we don't get discovered, the longer the better. Primal Chaos City Master laughed. If we can give birth to another universe's strongest warrior, that would be great. Bringing back your 2 supreme treasures safely is already a great contribution. Luo Feng nodded, after which he couldn't help but ask, Teacher, the distribution of the 2 treasures. Let's go, let's talk in the virtual universe. The Primal Chaos City leader said. Luo Feng was helpless. Before, when he tried to persuade his teacher, however, it seemed like his teacher had already made up his mind to give the 2 treasures to Darkness Lord and Peng Gong leader. Luo Feng didn't agree to this, as the treasures were obtained by him. Naturally, he had to consider his opinion. Hence the teacher and disciple had already agreed to discuss with Peng Gong leader and Darkness Lord before making a decision. Virtual universe. It was still the long stone table in front of the huge axe shrine. There sat 4 silhouettes. They were the Primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord, Peng Gong leader and Luo Feng. The 4 of them were currently the strongest of the entire human race, and were also the 4 pillars of the human race. The 2 supreme treasures have been brought back. The Primal Chaos City leader smiled. They are the Black Prison Pagoda and the Yen Jun Rod. The characteristics of the Black Prison Pagoda, junior brother, Peng Gong, you 2 should know. I feel that it suits you very well. Me? Darkness Lord was stunned. No matter how cold he was, his heart couldn't help but tremble, because these were absolute treasures. Senior brother, Darkness Lord said. No need to reject. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. Your strength is about the same as mine. If it was a head-on battle, you might be a little weaker, however. The Black Prison Pagoda support for me is mainly defense. And for you, in terms of attack, you'll be able to use it extremely well. Only in your hands can I unleash even more of its power. And Peng Gong, that Yen Jun Rod, out of us, only you are the most proficient in rod attack. The Primal Chaos City leader said, You don't have to reject this. Peng Gong leader hesitated slightly. Yes. The strongest of the human race, he was the only one proficient in rod attacks, in a crucial moment for the human race. He himself wouldn't reject it, however, if that was the case, wouldn't he and Darkness each get one? What about Primal Chaos? Over the countless years, the Primal Chaos City leader was publicly acknowledged to be second only to Huge Axe. He had the highest hopes of becoming the strongest in the universe. Then Primal Chaos you, Peng Gong said. Teacher. Luo Feng hesitated too, not knowing how to persuade him. If he could, the last time they met, it was enough. This isn't just my decision, it's also teacher's decision. The Primal Chaos City leader finally spoke. The ancestors' decision? Luo Feng, Peng Gong and Darkness were all shocked. Suddenly, a white-robed man appeared on the long empty stone table, causing Luo Feng and the others to turn and shout respectfully, Ancestor, Teacher. Looking at this white-robed man, Luo Feng's recent nervousness and pressure relaxed a little. The human race still had the ancestor. Even though he was eternally suppressed, he still gave humanity the primal universe as a place to retreat to. Your strengths are not bad. The ancestor looked at Luo Feng and the others. If you were given time, along with Luo Feng's ancient civilization system guidance, the 4 of you all have hopes of becoming the strongest in the universe. It's a pity what humanity lacks the most right now is time. If it's just against any other power, with your strengths and your ultimate treasures, there's no need to fear. However, Luo Feng obtaining the Duan Dong River inheritance is equivalent to humanity obtaining it. Huge axes fall this time. The ancestors' eyes were filled with sorrow. The strongest in the primal universe, I'm afraid there aren't many that wouldn't be moved. Our human race will face attacks from almost every power in the primal universe, be it in the open or in the dark. Don't be afraid of anything else. With your strengths, even against the strongest in the universe, under the restrictions of the primal universe, you don't have to fear them. The ancestor said, "The only thing I'm afraid of is you being sealed." Sealed. Luo Feng and the others' expressions changed. Yes. Even with other treasures, or even ultimate treasures, they could still be sealed. The moment they were sealed, as long as they were brought to a small universe, they would naturally be easily killed. And the strongest that could withstand the seals were the Star Tower and Black Prison Tower. The ultimate treasure palaces, when they were sealed against each other, it would depend on which was stronger. 2 or 3 strongest in the universe working together, one is to trap you, making you unable to escape. The second is to directly suppress and seal you. The ancestor shook his head and sighed. The moment you're sealed, it'll be too late. Hence you all have to be wary of this. Sealing you is easy, however sealing one of the strongest in the universe is difficult. Luo Feng and the others nodded. Right. Even if the space ripples couldn't teleport, the speed of the strongest in the universe could swiftly exceed the limits of the origin laws. They had complete control over the battle, they could leave and fight whenever they wanted. However, our human race has the ability to. The ancestor emphasized. This time we've acquired the Black Prison Tower, Luo Feng too has the tomb boat, we can make good use of them in this battle. We'd rather retreat at the start, but the moment we attack we have to be vicious. Make the other races feel pain and fear, that'll be effective. At least we'll scare away the weaker races that are here to take advantage of us. The Primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Lord, Peng Gong and Luo Feng all nodded. Yes. The 9 great superpowers of the primal universe. And many other top powers like the Thorn Ring Alliance etc. They were afraid that when the time came, many other powers would think the human race was easy to bully and surround them. That would be terrifying. The treasure distribution this time. The ancestor said, Darkness takes the Black Prison Tower, Peng Gong takes the Yanjun Rod. As for Primal Chaos, he'll guard the primal region, he won't easily make a move. If he makes a move, it would mean our human race is facing its final despair. Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Peng Gong hesitated. Finally they all nodded. They all understood what the ancestor meant. Obviously the expedition would depend on the 3 of them, and the Primal Chaos City leader would guard the primal region. Time passed. The human race had always been cautious and careful, however, the death of the huge axe founder, the various races of the primal universe and the large powers of the Universe C had yet to discover. Universe C, East Emperor Sacred Land Universe. The vast East Emperor Sacred Land Universe was very remote. Luo Feng chose to trade in the broken universe that was closer to the primal universe, however it was much further from the East Emperor Sacred Land. Even though the North True Star Lord teleported much further, he still had to wait a full month and a half after Luo Feng returned to the primal universe before returning to the Sacred Land. Within the North True Star Lord's palace. Hua! The North True Star Lord stood within the palace, and in mid-air floated a silhouette. It was the East Emperor Ancestor that appeared out of nowhere glowing green. Ancestor. The North True Star Lord bowed respectfully. I've obtained the Memory Stone. Give it to me. The East Emperor Ancestor gazed at the North True Star Lord, his eyes filled with desire. Yes. North True Star Lord flipped his hand and a black stone appeared. It was the Memory Stone. East Deity Primogenitor waved his hand and the Memory Stone appeared in front of him. East Deity Primogenitor looked at the Memory Stone in his palm and his gaze changed. He desired it too much, after which a beam of light shot out from his palm and enveloped the Memory Stone. Instantly, a large amount of information from the memory stone surged into East Deity Primogenitor's mind. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1292. East Deity Primogenitor closed his eyes and read through the huge amount of memories. Beside him, the North True Star Lord watched nervously. He was very clear how much importance the Ancestor placed on this deal. If anything went wrong, it would be troublesome. Ancestor, in the endless reincarnation eras, he would occasionally appear. And this time, to break the East River inheritance, he appeared frequently, even saying that he was willing to pay any price. I hope this memory stone will do as the Ancestor wishes. After a while, the East Emperor Ancestor skimmed through at high speed, much faster than Luo Feng. He also skimmed through many of the lower levels of training experience, directly starting from the strongest of the universe, silence. Even the drop of a needle could be heard. Humph! The East Emperor's eyes opened fiercely, a terrifying flame burning within. Ancestor? North True Star Lord spoke. Damn it, damn that human Milky Way! The East Emperor gritted his teeth. Ancestor, this memory stone? North True Star Lord's heart trembled. This memory stone indeed has information on the strongest of the universe. The East Emperor laughed coldly, and it's quite rich. However, the training experience recorded within isn't even as profound as my own. At most, it's a special training experience, walking a special path. He hasn't even reached my level. What's the use of giving it to me? What's the use of giving it to me? The East Emperor's cold voice caused the surrounding space to tremble. North True Star Lord's face was filled with rage. Ancestor, this human Milky Way actually dared to play with our East Emperor's sacred land, daring to cheat us of our two ultimate treasures. We must make him regret it. Regret how? The East Emperor looked at North True Star Lord. You're going to the primal universe. North True Star Lord was stunned. From the other reincarnation eras, including the two sacred lands, not a single warrior dared to barge into the primal universe. The moment a non-primal universe life form entered, it would be courting death. Then we'll let him get two ultimate treasures out of thin air? North True Star Lord was unwilling to. East Deity Progenitor was deep in thought. Maybe the North True Star Lord was unwilling to give up the two ultimate treasures and felt his heart ache. But what kind of foresight did East Deity Primogenitor have? He didn't care about those two supreme treasures at all. It didn't matter if he lost two of them. What he was angry about was that he had been longing for so long. He had thought that he would be able to see a memory stone that contained even more profound cultivation experience, but in the end, the cultivation level of the memory stone wasn't even comparable to his. His hopes were dashed. I can't accept this. Fall out with Luo Feng? However, the Ancestor understood too, that Luo Feng had no way of viewing the experiences of the strongest warriors in the universe, which meant Luo Feng indeed had the sincerity to take out a memory stone that had a very high level of experience. However, Luo Feng himself wasn't sure just how profound the training experience in the memory stone was. Maybe it's just bad luck? Maybe this Luo Feng has a memory stone with even more profound training experiences? East Emperor Ancestor still had a thread of hope. Then, a token appeared in his palm. It was a communication token. Luo Feng. East Emperor Ancestor immediately communicated. In the distant primal universe, within the City Lord's mansion, Luo Feng was drinking alone in a quiet hall. At one end of the hall was the railing outside. Leaning on the railing, he could see almost half of Primal Chaos City. Even though he seemed relaxed, in truth over 99% of his consciousness was within the inheritance space of the tomb boat. A god energy clone was there focused on comprehending the beast god path. The god body in the ninth abyss, Luo Feng had long since made it collapse on its own. That was because the ninth abyss highest technique, within the inheritance of Broken East River, one could find even more detailed and systematic engraving techniques, which allowed him to have a vast amount of engravings to study. Right now, the fastest way to raise his strength was to become a universe lord as soon as possible. However, even if he reached a bottleneck, no matter how strong his foundations were, when he truly broke through, he would be stuck for hundreds or thousands of years, or even tens of eras. Of course, if he was lucky, he might be able to break through in one go. However, Luo Feng still hadn't reached the true bottleneck. Back when he stopped training, he stopped near the bottleneck. With the 10,000 times time acceleration in the inheritance space, Luo Feng thought, 1 year is equivalent to an era outside. No matter how slow it is, in less than a few decades, I'll become a universe lord. Luo Feng frowned. The North True Planet leader gave me a tag? Why is he contacting me now? Don't tell me the memory stones I gave him have results. He had long prepared for the 3 pieces of memory stones that he had traded with the East deity's sacred ground. They all had cultivation experiences that surpassed the strongest in the universe. It was just that these 3 pieces were not qualified to be categorized as part of the core inheritance. Actually, it was destined that their cultivation experiences were profound, but not that profound. At least they weren't even as strong as the East Broken River. Because the experiences of the East Broken River level were all part of the core inheritance. With a flip of his hand, the tag appeared. Luo Feng. The message resounded. North True. Luo Feng replied. I'm East Emperor. The message continued. Luo Feng was shocked, after which he shivered. East Emperor? The most ancient being in the universe? See? Looking at the size of the small universe, he should be the strongest being in the universe. See? I didn't expect the East Emperor ancestor to contact me, and even say my name. It's my honor. Luo Feng said. Normally the other reincarnation eras called themselves the human Milky Way. Those that called him Luo Feng were few and far between. 2 absolute treasures, how is it? The East Emperor ancestor said. Very good. Luo Feng replied. It's a pity one of them is a rod-type attack treasure. If it were a domain type or a palace type, that would be much better. Your request, I've done it. However, my request, you've disappointed me. The East Emperor communicated. The memory stone you gave me, even though it contains the experiences of the strongest warriors in the universe, it's pitifully little, it's useless to me. Luo Feng said. I'm really sorry, it's just that I'm unable to see the contents of the strongest warriors in the universe, hence I naturally don't know how profound it is. Whatever you say, I can't refute. You mean I'm lying? The East Emperor ancestor was a little angry. That's not what I mean. Luo Feng explained. I'm only saying, I only know that the experience in the memory stone definitely exceeds the strongest in the universe, that's all. I can guarantee with my reputation, the experience in this memory stone doesn't even reach my current level. The East Emperor ancestor said, It's useless to me, hence, my request is for you to give me another memory stone, and I'm not willing to give any other absolute treasures as collateral. Luo Feng was shocked before. Why would the East Emperor ancestor use his reputation? Now that he understood, this East deity primogenitor didn't want to obtain the supreme treasure and wanted to obtain the next memory stone. East Emperor ancestor, this won't do. Luo Feng said. Firstly, I'm not sure if you're real or fake, yet you want to get a second memory stone without paying any price? No way. Luo Feng said. What's more, we had an agreement back then. The first time was 2 absolute treasures. If you want it a second time, you'll have to pay 4, not 1 less. I've said before, your first one has no use to me. The East Emperor ancestor said. Do you think I'd lie to you? East Emperor was furious. If he wasn't truly thirsting for more experience, why would he waste so much time talking to Luo Feng? He thought highly of himself. How would he even look up to Luo Feng? The only thing Luo Feng had that he cared about was the inheritance from Duandong River. I don't care if the East Emperor ancestor lies or not. Luo Feng said straightforwardly, one sentence, everything will go according to the original agreement. If you want the second memory stone, you'll have to give me 4 absolute treasures. The East Emperor ancestor raged, immediately cutting off the communication. Luo Feng looked at the message tag in his palm, after which he shook his head and kept it. East Emperor? Luo Feng laughed coldly. An old punk that will never be able to leave the sacred land universe. Your reputation is worthless to me. You can't even compare to a precious treasure, and you still want to make empty promises to get a second memory stone? Watch. Luo Feng thought. He knew early on that this East Emperor ancestor obviously wanted more experience, then, as long as he truly desired it, this desire would eventually make the East Emperor ancestor agree. Let's see whose patience is the best. Luo Feng thought. The vast primal universe in one of the universe membranes. Rumble. A majestic silhouette rushed out of the universe membrane. A small hole appeared in it, however it quickly recovered. This towering figure had 2 huge curved horns that pierced upward. It had long blood-red hair, and its entire body was covered in a layer of green scales. Its chest was covered in black scales, and it had 6 eyes on its face. Hidden beneath its seemingly pointy ears was a pair of very small ears. He wielded a peculiar weapon and surveyed his surroundings. It's still best to charge straight from my god country, charging out of the primal universe. Why must I run to the universe's largest black hole? It's too far. The Ba Lion leader muttered hoarsely, let's go to the pinnacle world. Schwa. After which he teleported forward. After about half an hour, the Ba Lion leader suddenly stopped in the vast chaos energy. He saw a majestic huge mini-universe in the distance. This is the creator's mini-universe. Every time I go to the pinnacle world, I pass by here. Why does it give me the feeling that something's wrong this time? The Ba Lion leader muttered, because of the distance and the fact that the creator's mini-universe had just begun to collapse. The space within had completely collapsed. The surface had many cracks and holes, however it still maintained a perfect sphere shape. The cracks were very small, unnoticeable from afar. Only it felt different. The mini-universe of the past was filled with power, filled with life. And now, this mini-universe had no life, no pressure. Naturally this made the Ba Lion leader feel something was wrong. HM? The Ba Lion leader immediately teleporting not far from the mini-universe. Ah! The Lord of Ba Lion's 6 eyes widened as he looked at the huge, miniature universe in front of him. There were some cracks on the surface of this miniature universe, and there were some holes in it. The chaotic currents from the cosmic sea surged in endlessly. Through the holes, he could see some shattered continents inside. Huge axe? Fallen? The Ba Lion leader was stunned. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1293. The Ba Lion leader wasn't a normal being that lived in the huge axe universe. Many of the humans who personally witnessed the collapse of the sky and space didn't understand what it meant. But how could the Ba Lion leader not understand? One of the strongest beings in the universe has fallen. The Ba Lion leader's 6 eyes were wide open. The human's ancestor was suppressed by the universe's origin energy long ago, and suppressed forever. The Ba Lion leader's eyeballs spun. The only one holding on is the creator of the huge axe. Now that even he has fallen, doesn't that mean the human race is no longer the pinnacle of races? The automaton race, the monster race, the bug race, the humans, these 4 races are the proudest, occupying the 4 best territories. Even our prison race looks down on them. And now the huge axe has fallen. The automaton race, the monster race and the bug race, I'm afraid they won't let the humans go. And that human Milky Way leader Luo Feng even received the inheritance of the Duandong River that all the powers in the universe see are jealous of. This is an inheritance that has a chance to transcend the cycle of reincarnation. This is great, the killing will be even crazier. The Ba Lion leader quickly understood what the fall of the huge axe meant. The fall of the huge axe obviously couldn't be covered up. However, it was just a matter of who found out first. The news hasn't spread at all. Looks like the other races still don't know. The Ba Lion leader nodded to himself. I have to report back immediately. The home of the prison race, their origin, was a place called prison. Prison was extremely dangerous. The beings born from there fought and killed each other. Countless fell at every moment. They were divided into many races, but because they were all born in prison, they were collectively known as the prison race. In the endless prison, the one with the highest position was undoubtedly the legendary demon ancestor of the prison race. The continuous mountain ranges emitted endless cold air. Layers upon layers of mountain ranges. Every level of the mountain range had countless stairs leading up to it. The stairs extended all the way to the ends of the clouds. There were also many powerful prison clan beings standing on the stairs, and they radiated a heaven-shaking aura. This endless mountain range was also known as the prison clan's ancestral mountain. Rumble! A silhouette suddenly appeared and flew towards the peak of the ancestral mountain. The powerful prison race guards on the stairs didn't dare to stop the newcomer. A moment later, the figure arrived at the plaza of a group of majestic temples. Master of the Ba Lion Empire, what urgent matter is it? The leader of the guards at the end of the plaza let out a low growl. He actually came here with just an incarnation. Naturally, it is a major matter, the Ba Lion Lord said solemnly. Rumble, the door behind the guard leader automatically opened, and a sharp voice that sounded like swords colliding came out. Come in. Fiend Ancestor. Lord Ba Lion immediately flew in. Inside the hall. As soon as Lord Ba Lion entered, he looked up and saw a figure appear out of thin air on the high throne. It was an evil figure that was a mixture of silver and black. This evil figure was humanoid, but it had a long, sharp scorpion tail. The tail extended and even wrapped around half the hall. Under the silver carapace, a pair of red eyes looked down. This was the Fiend Ancestor. The Fiend Ancestor of the prison race. Under the guidance of the Fiend Ancestor, the internal strife of the entire prison race was extremely intense, and the hierarchy was extremely strict. This sort of frenzied strife, starting from the lowest level, caused every rising prison race expert to be absolutely iron-blooded, crazy, and savage. Humans were different. Humans raised ordinary people with relatively kind tactics. Fiend Ancestor. Lord Ba Lion said respectfully. An incarnation has come to see me? What is it? The Fiend Ancestor's voice caused Lord Ba Lion's heart to tremble. Lord Ba Lion immediately said, My true body is preparing to head to the pinnacle realm. Speak, what is it? The Fiend Ancestor was somewhat impatient. Great Axe has fallen. Lord Ba Lion couldn't care less. He immediately said, The creator of Great Axe has fallen. What? A mirage flashed by, and an arm covered with a silver carapace and black muscles instantly appeared in front of Lord Ba Lion, grabbing him. At the same time, the Fiend Ancestor's eyes shot out a blurry red light that enveloped Lord Ba Lion. He anxiously said, Great Axe? Are you saying that the creator of Great Axe has fallen? What kind of joke is this? His strength is far greater than you can imagine. Although the Fiend Ancestor did not know the true strength of the creator of Great Axe, he could vaguely sense that Great Axe was very terrifying. Of course I wouldn't dare lie to the Fiend Ancestor. When my true body headed to the pinnacle realm, I teleported there and saw his miniature universe. I was shocked to discover that the surface of the creator of Great Axe's miniature universe actually had cracks and holes. Large amounts of primordial energy surged in, and I could even see through the holes that the space within was collapsing, and the continents were shattered and floating. Clearly, the miniature universe had already begun to collapse. This creator of Great Axe is definitely dead. Lord Ba Lion immediately said, I knew the severity of the matter, so I didn't dare to hesitate and sent my incarnation to report. Wha? The black muscular arm lowered and slowly retracted. On the throne, the fiend ancestor's eyes flashed, and then he said, "If it's true, you have done a great service." Schwa. Out of nowhere, the fiend ancestor disappeared from the throne. Moments later, in the cosmic sea, in the chaotic airflow not far from the primeval universe membrane, an evil figure stood in the void. His huge and sharp tail was wrapped around his body, and a pair of red eyes looked at the vast universe in the distance. Greytax's miniature universe. The fiend ancestor stared carefully. Boom! With a step, the fiend ancestor arrived at the boundary of the miniature universe's membrane. He slammed into the membrane with a rumble, causing a part of the membrane to instantly collapse as he slammed into the miniature universe. Such a weak membrane. The fiend ancestor turned back to look. It's unable to automatically repair itself. There's not even a sliver of life left. He turned his head. The fiend ancestor looked at the vast space, at the floating pieces of space, and within those floating pieces of space were pieces of continent. Furthermore, the entire universe was gradually collapsing. Greytax has actually perished. The fiend ancestor's eyes flashed. It's truly unbelievable. He's so powerful, and not long ago, he obtained a supreme treasure. Logically speaking, with his strength, no one should be able to kill him. To become the strongest person in the universe, he has to be extremely careful. Even in the 3 perilous lands, he wouldn't easily let himself fall into a desperate situation. Yet, he actually perished. How did he die? The fiend ancestor was shocked within. That's fine. Since he's dead, then this will be interesting. The fiend ancestor's eyes were filled with anticipation. Then I'll add fuel to the fire. Even though Greytax is dead, the human race still has 17 Universe Lord. Also, the Milky Way leader Luofeng from before even obtained the inheritance of the Duandong River. With his help, the human race's strength isn't simple. Especially that ancestor. He probably left a trump card for the human race. The fiend ancestor thought. However, even so, the race doesn't even have the strongest person in the universe, and he has the inheritance of the Duandong River. The fiend ancestor thought. Let the demon, automaton, and bug race attack first. Let's see what kind of strength the human race has and whether they can hold on. If they can't, my prison race will rush up too. Very quickly. With the fiend ancestor secretly adding fuel to the fire, the news of Greytax's founder's death almost simultaneously spread throughout the demon, automaton, and bug race. Primal universe in a silent space. Rumble, rumble, rumble. 3 thoughts pierced through space and descended. One was a huge oval ball silhouette, another was a slim silhouette, and the last was a huge silver-white snake head. Dream Tea, Empress, you two should have investigated, right? The oval ball silhouette spoke. Yes. The slim silhouette said. Greytax has indeed fallen. The silver-white snake head said. This news was first discovered by a Fanhua leader who was roaming outside. I believe the entire primal universe will know about it soon. The oval black ball silhouette emphasized. The human race and our 3 races occupy the best territories of the primal universe. This territory can nurture the most potential life forms. Our 3 races have always been the strongest, especially the human race. The ancestors' strength is extremely strong. Even though Greytax's strength has never truly exploded, it has been revealed many times. I believe you all know this. The 2 strongest in the universe before and after are already so strong. The life forms nurtured in this human territory are indeed extraordinary. Competition in the territories is inevitable, the oval ball silhouette said. What's more, this time, the inheritance of Duandong River will definitely attract the greed of the various races of the primal universe. Yes. right? Who wouldn't be greedy? This is a chance to transcend the reincarnation cycle. What do we do? The three strongest warriors of the universe discussed. They all had thoughts of attacking. However, if one side attacked, it would be very taxing. Secondly, they were worried that if they attacked and suffered losses, the other powers would instead benefit. The human race's strength isn't normal. The slim silhouette's voice was incomparably beautiful. The ancestor was even stronger back then. Who knows, he might have left some trump cards for the human race. And that Luo Feng's tomb boat is extremely strong too. I'm worried that Luo Feng doesn't just have the tomb boat. He might have brought out other treasures. Hence, if we attack, our three races will move together. That's how it is. Those who want to wait behind for benefits, our three races will deal with them together. It won't be too taxing. The silhouette continued. And our three races have a total of 4 strongest warriors in the universe. The humans don't even have a single strongest warrior. Killing them won't be hard. We just have to get rid of the strongest few. Then how do we move? Naturally it's fast. We have to be so fast that they can't even react. Especially the other powers of the primal universe. The news has just spread, the other powers might not even know yet. And they are scattered all over the primal universe. They are still far from us. And we are the closest to the humans. Our movements are also the fastest. Alright. The Bug Clan, Demon Clan, Automaton Clan, as the pinnacle races, they were extraordinary too. Their efficiency was naturally very high. They swiftly made their decisions. And on that day they began to move. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1294. All universe supremacies, emperors and undying, enter the ancestral monster universe. The 2 ancestral monsters ordered. The war had begun. Then, emperors and universe supremacies were resources for the birth of universe lords. They naturally could not take the risk. As for the domain lords and sector lords, it was hard to say if a universe supremacy would be born. Moreover, even if a large number of them died, a new batch would be born not long after. Within the virtual space of the monster race. Zhen Jiao, this time I will personally lead the troops. The Silver Snake said, you guard the race, just in case. Okay. The Sawtooth mutated beast said, the Zerg race and the Automaton race only have one strongest in the universe. My race has 2, it is enough for you to go out. Take my token with you. If anything goes wrong, I will rush over immediately. Okay. Moments later, in the same place, Ancestral Monster Zhen and Ancestral Monster Dream looked at the 12 monster experts in front of them. Ancestral Monster Dream said, this war is to seize the foundation of the human race. The human race will definitely retaliate crazily. I will personally lead you, I will naturally protect you. But the 12 of you should split into 4 groups. During the battle, 3 groups will work together. At the crucial moment, 2 groups will work together. Even the 12 of you will work together. Anyway, ensure your own safety. Your mission is to support me. I am the main force of this war. Yes, Ancestral Monster. The 12 Universe Lords were excited and filled with anticipation. 3 races working together. This was practically destroying the entire human race. The 12 of them working together would even dare to charge into the human race alone, let alone with Ancestral Monster Dream leading them. Let's go. Ancestral Monster Dream ordered. Far away in the Zerg territory, a gigantic purple sphere about 1 trillion kilometers tall floated in space. The surface of the purple sphere had layers of twisted patterns like human veins. A beam of light flew over. The gigantic purple sphere automatically split open a passage, and that beam of light flew in. Moments later, another beam of light flew in. One after another, streaks of light flew into the purple ball. Queen. Inside the gigantic purple sphere, inside a beautiful palace hall. The 6 insectoid queen mothers, who were covered in a layer of faintly discernible and transparent gauze, respectfully saluted the insectoid queen on the throne. The queen of the insect race looked down and said slowly. Her voice was filled with endless charm, but at this moment, there was a hint of killing intent in it. We must obtain the legacy of the broken East River. With it, our insect race will be able to transcend reincarnation. For this battle, the 6 of you will stay in my battle nest and control the insectoid warriors under you to fight. For this battle, your reserves have already reached the limit. Although there are only 6 of you, your combined strength is probably not inferior to 20 or 30 lords of the universe from the demon race or the mechanical race. How can the demon race and machine race compare to us insectoids? Said an insectoid queen mother. In a one-on-one fight, our race already has the upper hand. If it's a group battle, our insectoid race has a greater advantage. This time, we've even used our reserves. Since we're in the Emperor's battle nest, we don't have to worry about our own safety. Each of us can erupt with our strongest combat strength. If the 6 of us attack at the same time, and only attack a single Lord of the Universe, even if he is strong enough to survive, he will probably be blinded by our attacks and be sealed. Yes. If the 6 of us join forces, our power will definitely reach the limits of the primeval universe. These 6 insectoid queen mothers were very confident. Then let the humans see the power of the insectoid race. The queen mother on the throne laughed softly. Let's go. Her laughter was soul-stirring, but it contained absolute killing intent and mercilessness. In the silent mechanical universe, boom, 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 towering figures that seemed to be made of metal teleported from all directions to the surrounding area, then flew toward the huge black oval sphere at high speed. Godfather! 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 Many powerful consciousnesses transmitted over. Go to the primeval universe, to the human territory. The black oval sphere spoke, and the towering metal figures obeyed and flew into the universe passageway. The demon race, insectoid race, and machine race were extremely fast. On the same day that the prison race had secretly spread the news, they had moved. At the same time, the human race was constantly on guard and monitoring the situation. Primeval Universe, Primal Chaos City. At this time, Primal Chaos City had already become the true core of the human race. Darkness Lord, Pengong Lord and Luo Feng were all here. Junior, Pengong, Luo Feng, come quickly! A voice immediately resounded in 3 different corners of Primal Chaos City. Those 3 corners were naturally where Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Pengong Lord were. Luo Feng, who was sitting crossed-legged in a quiet hall, opened his eyes. Has it begun? Luo Feng muttered softly. So, one teleportation. Within the main hall of the city leader's residence, 3 silhouettes appeared one after another, exchanging glances and looking up at the Primal Chaos City leader. Primal Chaos, has the news been leaked? Darkness Lord asked. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. The news has just spread, and the ancestor told me his virtual universe has already detected the movements of the demon, automaton and bug races. I estimate that very soon there will be an absolute warrior forming a team to kill their way here. We have to immediately prepare. Ancestor, Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Pengong Lord all revealed looks of shock. I haven't told you all. The Primal Chaos City leader emphasized. The ancestor's virtual universe covers the entire primal universe. Unless it's a universe's strongest, forcefully changing a region and forcing the virtual universe to open. Hence other than a few regions and primal stars and other rare regions. As long as it's covered by the virtual universe, then it'll be as though the ancestor is personally watching. Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Pengong Lord immediately revealed looks of glee. The ancestor's capabilities made them happy. What made them even happier was, with this move, it was equivalent to constantly monitoring the entire battlefield, and the scope of the ancestors' monitoring was too huge, almost covering the entire primal universe. If the universe's strongest were to move, even if they force the virtual universe open, the primal Chaos City leader said, the ancestor can also deduce which region has forced the virtual universe open. From that, he can deduce the approximate region of the universe's strongest. Right. Luo Feng and the others all nodded. The news has just spread, the demon, bug and automaton races, even if it's arranged, it'll still take some time. However, it won't be long. The primal Chaos City leader said, the three of you are the main force this time. Move immediately. There's also the pinnacle treasures of the races. If you urgently need them, you can apply to use them now. Ah! Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Peng Gong Lord were shocked, after which it was natural. Right. I'm actually lacking a pinnacle domain treasure. Luo Feng smiled. However, I have a pinnacle palace treasure to exchange for. I too need that hypnosis treasure to assist me. Darkness Lord nodded. Alright, let's move quickly. I'll arrange for the other universe lords. The primal Chaos City leader said, when the time comes, the other universe lords will split into 3 teams and follow you, helping you too. Maybe their individual strength isn't enough, but together, they'll be of great help. Luo Feng and the other 2 nodded and immediately left. Back then, during the battle for the Duan Dong River inheritance, many of the God-eyed clan's warriors had died, and the tomb boat had collected many pinnacle treasures, of which there was a pinnacle soul treasure. However, there was no pinnacle domain treasure. It was obtained from the clan's reserves. The clan's reserves, a large majority of them, were left behind by the creator of the huge axe. Luo Feng exclaimed. The killer Wu wings. Right now there are a total of 3 pairs. Even if they merge, their power won't increase at all. It's better to temporarily split them up. Luo Feng had a plan long ago. The first 2 pairs would be carried by his earth body. When that time comes, he would be able to unleash the Golden Country, along with the pinnacle domain treasure. Such a space binding would be extremely powerful. As for the white wings, with the golden horned beast carrying them, anyway the white wings were used as blades, they were incredibly sharp and powerful, it was enough. When that time comes to unleash Nirvana rebirth, its power would be absolute. Very quickly, Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Peng Gong Lord once again gathered in the main palace. This time there were a total of 12 universe lords. The 12 of them will split into 3 teams and follow the 3 of you. The primal Chaos City leader emphasized, Void Gold Lord's team will follow Peng Gong Lord. Green East Lord's team will follow Darkness Lord. Ice Peak Lord's team will follow Luo Feng. You all go make your preparations first. The moment we discover any movements from the 3 races, I'll immediately inform you. Alright. Alright. I can't wait any longer. All of the universe lords were filled with killing intent. Humans were extremely prideful deep in their bones. Wanting to deal with humans? Come, let's fight. Luo Feng, stay. The primal Chaos City leader said. The others all left. The primal Chaos City leader said to Luo Feng, your golden horned beast strength, are you sure? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. When it explodes out, it won't lose out to the strongest warrior in the universe. Compared to the strongest, its weakness is that it can't escape as fast as the strongest. Of course its battle endurance isn't as strong as the strongest, however I have many protections. Burning my body normally can allow me to fight for a very long time. What a joke. The golden horned beast's clone had the stellar pagoda and the white wings within its own arrangements. These 2 treasures could be considered the most powerful treasures. The god blood on the white wings and the willpower attack was terrifying. Combined, its battle strength was indeed terrifying. The primal Chaos City leader nodded. Alright, your clone's strength will not be revealed for now. The primal Chaos City leader nodded. This time, you, Darkness and Pringong Lord, these three teams are the main forces. And your golden horned clone's strength, it's mobile, ready to react at any time. Luo Feng nodded. Go. The Primal Chaos City leader said, the moment there's any movement, I'll immediately inform you. However soon, I estimate that the three races will make their move today. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1295. Within the quiet room sat four silhouettes. At this time, Luo Feng with his stone blade on his back walked in. Sweeping his gaze, the ones following him this time were Ice Peak Leader, Dragon Leader, Desolate Mirror Leader and Yu-Ho Leader. In terms of strength, Yu-Ho Leader was slightly weaker, however the other three were all extraordinary, they were all ancient beings. Ice Peak Leader and Dragon Leader had received guidance from their ancestors before, like Desolate Mirror Leader. He was the creator of the Universe Mercenary Alliance. Luo Feng. Milky Way. Luo Feng. The four looked over and spoke simultaneously. Desolate Mirror Leader emphasized, for this battle, I'll leave one body outside, the other three will follow you into battle. This way, our team's strength will be even stronger. Luo Feng said, exclaiming at the same time, Desolate Mirror Leader often helped his Universe Mercenary Alliance for his personal gains, however at the crucial moment, he didn't hold back. To be able to become a Universe Lord, there were usually a few who had their own bodies, like Dragon Leader. However, many had a total of 2 bodies. It was normal for one to stay in the God Country and the other to fight. Like Desolate Mirror, Luo Feng and Primal Chaos who had multiple bodies, they were rare. A single master of the universe like this was equivalent to a few. This was also one of the reasons why the Universe Mercenary Alliance's overall strength was stronger than the Universe Galaxy Bank and the Universe First Bank. For this battle, Desolate Mirror Leader, Ice Peak Leader, Dragon Leader and Yu-Ho Leader, the 4 of you will act together. Luo Feng said, this way, especially with Desolate Mirror Leader's 3 bodies together, even the strongest of the universe's attacks have a guarantee. However, the chaotic battle will be very dangerous, hence it's better to fight around the tomb boat. Right. Desolate Mirror, Ice Peak and the others all nodded. Their confidence wasn't blind, after all, just the surrounding 3 pinnacle races, any one of them was comparable to humanity. The moment the 3 attacked together, the opponent had the strongest of the universe, and more universe lords. If they attacked together, humanity would definitely be at a disadvantage. If they dared to play heroically at this time, they would be looking for death. Of course, if they had the strength of a level 6 universe lord, they would have the right to play heroically. This time, Desolate Mirror said solemnly, what I'm most worried about is the other powers acting together. There was almost no doubt that the top 3 clans would take action. But if the other super forces also take action, the scariest thing would be the strongest experts of the solitary universe. If they also interfere. Luo Feng, Bing Feng, Yu-Ho and Long Xing were speechless. Their faces were ugly. That was right. The 9 superpowers of the primeval universe were the ancestral god cult, the humans, the Yao race, the machine race, the insect race, the prison race, the crystal race, the Northern Frontier Alliance, and the Astral Beast Alliance. Among the 9 forces, the ancestral god cult, the demon race, the mechanical race, the insect race, and the Star Behemoth Alliance all had ultimate treasures. The prison race, the crystal race, and the Northern Border Alliance had none. Because the prison race and the crystal race didn't have any ultimate treasures, they were remote, and their overall strength was slightly weaker. Even though the humans, the demon race, the machine race, and the insect race fought fiercely, they didn't think much of the other 2 races. One must know that, other than the 9 superforces, there were still some solitary warriors. For example, Mountain Guest, the Origin Island Lord, the creator of Dark Universe, the Demon God, the demon primogenitor. These strongest warriors of the universe were all special life forms that eventually became the strongest in the universe. They were all incomparably ancient and powerful. Actually, the North Border Alliance leader was originally the strongest warrior of the solitary universe. Eventually, he was roped in. However, even so, he was just a figurehead, occasionally lending a hand. However, the North Border Alliance leader himself had an ultimate treasure, yet he wouldn't help the Alliance at all. Even if the North Border Alliance was destroyed, the leader wouldn't feel any heartache. In the primeval universe, there were a total of 10 strongest warriors. There were some grudges between them. Just like the demon primogenitor, he thought of himself as the leader of the demon race, the leader of the space beast. He thought of himself as the true demon race and the space beast primogenitor. Hence, he called himself the demon primogenitor. He used to be incomparably glorious. However, later on, the Space Beast Alliance and the Demon Race both broke free from his control. This was also one of the reasons why the Demon Race kept shouting that the Space Beasts were also part of the Demon Race. These two races indeed had huge grudges with each other. No matter what, these solitary warriors were not to be trifled with. Some were mysterious, like the North Border Alliance leader, like Mountain Guest, like the Origin Island Lord. Some had extremely powerful battles that made them famous, like the creator of Dark Universe, the demon primogenitor, the demon god. Their special life forms were even more ancient. Other than the unlucky demon primogenitor, who didn't have an ultimate treasure, the others all had it on them. The 9 super forces, the solitary powers. Luo Feng was anxious within. The solitary powers are even more mysterious. They don't need to fight for their race, they all work for themselves, and they are all special life forms that are extremely ancient. Just like my teacher Mountain Guest. These solitary powers aren't any weaker than the 9 super forces. The inheritance of Duan Dong River, the temptation of transcending the reincarnation cycle isn't small to them either. The formless pressure made Luo Feng, Bing Feng, Traveling Dragon, Huang Jian and Yu Ho fall silent for a while. Humph. Traveling Dragon said hoarsely, no matter who the enemy is, we can only fight. We humans have no other choice. Luo Feng, Huang Jian, Yu Ho and Bing Feng's eyes gleamed. Right. If the enemy came, what could the human race do? They could only fight. Within the 3 halls of the city leader's residence, the 3 teams were waiting silently. As they waited, the killing intent within them was brewing. Come quickly! A voice resounded within the 3 halls. Luo Feng, Bing Feng, Traveling Dragon, Huang Jian and Yu Ho simultaneously stood up and teleported, vanishing at the same time. The city leader's residence main hall. Luo Feng led Ice Peak leader's team, Darkness Lord led Qing Dong leader's team, Peng Gong led the Void Gold Lord's team. These 3 teams appeared simultaneously. These 15 powerful beings all looked at the Primal Chaos City leader. Attention all! The Primal Chaos City leader's gaze swept across them. Every Universe Lord's eyes were filled with battle intent. They were all prepared for a bloody battle. Demon, Bug and Automaton, according to the ancestors' guess, the strongest of these 3 universes should have had a meeting, and just now, the 3 seemed to have acted simultaneously. The Primal Chaos City leader emphasized. Luo Feng, Darkness Lord and Peng Gong's gazes couldn't help but turn sharp and frenzied. They had indeed acted. And these 3 teams all have the strongest warriors of the universe. The Primal Chaos City leader said, the moment their god countries appeared in space, the ancestor felt it. It's just that the strongest of the universe forced them to open the virtual universe. Hence, of these 3 teams, just which one is the Bug Clan and which one is the Demon Clan, we don't know at all. I believe the news of Huge Axe's fall will soon spread throughout the primal universe. The Primal Chaos City leader said seriously, I believe it will soon attract the other superpowers and other powers, even the strongest warriors of the Lone Warriors. Hence the first battle, we have to shock and awe the other powers and make them worry. If our race is weak, it will definitely make the other powers worry. If it's too late and they don't get any benefits, I'm afraid that when the time comes, the other powers and strongest warriors of the universe will all rush over and our human race will really have to retreat from the primal universe. Everyone was silent. Right. So what if they had 2 or 3 treasures? The 9 superpowers, the other top powers, the strongest warriors of the lone warriors, if they all attacked together, whoever stood in their way would definitely die, unless they hid within the tomb boat. But if they could only hide, how would they protect their own territories? I've discussed with the ancestor, the first battle, our human race will form 3 teams to work together and attack one of them. The primal Chaos City leader's gaze was sharp. He roared, working together, in one move, we'll destroy this team. Let them suffer heavy losses, we'll definitely make the other powers fear us, not daring to act rashly. Right. Destroy them! Go all out and attack one of them, destroy this one. Luo Feng and the others gritted their teeth and roared. They were clear that this was very difficult, but they had to be vicious. If they couldn't even destroy this one team, then the other powers would rush over. That would be a nightmare. Alright. The primal Chaos City leader said, we'll immediately depart. The coordinates of the 3 teams, whichever one is the easiest to reach, we'll head to that point and destroy that team. Yes. Depart! Depart! They all shouted, suppressing the rage within, keeping it all within their hearts. It would all explode during the battle. Humanity's strongest 3 teams formed from the absolute beings swiftly left Primal Chaos City and reached the primal universe. This coordinate, we can immediately reach it. The virtual universe had become the highest command center. The Primal Chaos City leader was in control of the entire situation. This time, the 3 teams all brought large amounts of undyings. Many of them had large amounts of tokens scattered throughout the universe. With that, they could quickly teleport to the God Country. Go! 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 A tomb boat, a black pyramid and an ancient palace, pinnacle palace treasures, under the restrictions of the primal universe, their attacks were limited. The pinnacle palace treasures couldn't possibly shatter. They were Luo Feng's team, Darkness and Pring Gong's team. Rumble, within the glaring golden light. Space and time warped. The God Country's light pierced through space and connected to a distant point, immediately sending the tomb boat, black pyramid and ancient palace that were bathed in the golden light over. You are about 120 light-years away from the target. These are the coordinates. The Primal Chaos City leader informed through the virtual universe, and within the tomb boat, Luo Feng was dressed in silver armor. On his back were 2 pairs of silver wings, on his back was a stone blade. He even had a pinnacle soul treasure protecting his soul. With his willpower and the pinnacle soul treasure, even if 10 demon gods attacked him, he wouldn't fear them. Teleportation. 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 The 3 teams almost simultaneously teleported. The tomb boat, the Black Pyramid and the ancient palace simultaneously crossed 120 light-years of distance, appearing in a silent pitch-black space. There weren't any stars around, only the distant distorted space of a huge gray ship. When Luo Feng and the other 2 teams teleported, a vast and powerful energy immediately emanated from the huge ship, sweeping towards Luo Feng and the others. It's the demon race. Luo Feng and the others looked at the huge ship and immediately determined the target. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1296. Within the huge ship, a large silver snake coiled around the throne with its eyes half closed. Its tail coiled around the edge of the throne 8 or 9 times, and then the tip of its tail extended all the way to the bottom of the throne. Below it sat the 12 powerful masters of the universe that the demon race had sent. They were all waiting and brewing, preparing for the upcoming battle. The huge silver snake suddenly looked in a direction. The 12 demon race universe lords all looked over. The walls of the ship didn't obstruct their vision at all. With one look, they could see 3 palace treasures in the distant dark space. They were a ship, a pyramid, and a palace. Tomb boat. Ancestor Dreams said solemnly, "It's a human." Humans. The humans actually dared to kill their way out ahead of time. One by one, the demon race universe lords began to howl. Humph. Following a furious snort. The dark starry sky outside the huge ship was like an endless ocean. In an instant, a space-time wave was set off in this starry sky. The distorted space-time formed a powerful shockwave. Wave after wave madly rushed towards the 3 palace-type treasures. The Black Pyramid and the Ancient Palace immediately flew to the back of the tomb boat. Rumble, the powerful shockwave continued to affect the tomb boat. The tomb boat, however, was incomparably stable. Back in the ice-fire region, even when it was surrounded by so many absolute beings, it wasn't affected at all. Why would it care about these space ripples? As the space-time waves in the dark starry sky hit them, the 3 palace-type treasures were like 3 small reefs in the endless waves, resisting the wave. At this moment, Luo Feng looked. It's that ancestor dream. Within the tomb boat, the Ice Peak leader, Dragon leader, Desolate Mirror leader, and Yu-Ho leader all held their breaths and stared outside. Luo Feng too stared. Amidst the dark waves of space-time, an incomparably huge, faintly discernible silver serpent gradually appeared. This silver serpent stretched out, and for a moment, it seemed to run through the entire dark starry sky. The length of its spread out was probably more than a light-year. It was too shocking. Ancestor Dream's body has actually become so huge. Yu-Ho leader said solemnly. The Master of the Desolation Mirror said coldly, Demonic Ancestor Dream has the ultimate treasure, Dream Scale Armor. His body was protected by armor, and his defense was extremely strong. Normally, when an expert transformed, he would transform to his normal size. He wouldn't purposely grow larger without limit. That would only cause his defense to rapidly weaken. However, it was the strongest being in the universe, and its divine body was extremely powerful. It was only due to the suppression of the primeval universe that it could only display the divine power of the Lord of the Universe, which was 10,000 times stronger. Secondly, he had a supreme treasure armor. Of course, it dares to expand its divine body as it pleases. Looks like it's planning to wipe out all 3 of our teams. The iceberg leader squinted his eyes. Prepare to act, Luo Feng said directly. Whoosh. He immediately teleported to the cabin door of the tomb boat. Back when he was fighting for the inheritance of the Duandong River, it was impossible to teleport within the tomb boat. However, now Luo Feng had become the master. Since he could control many of the mechanical functions of the tomb boat, he could naturally teleport easily. The cabin door opened and Luo Feng stood there, gazing into the distant dark space. That incomparably huge silver snake that was 1 light-year long, its huge tail was already sweeping over. On the ship on top of the snake's head, the lords of the universe of the demon race appeared one by one. Luo Feng, I'll fight it first. Behind the tomb boat in a palace, a silhouette appeared. It was the Ping Worker Master. The Ping Worker Master wielded the Yen Jun rod. It was a mix of black and purple, engravings intertwined, and on the Ping Worker Master's body, it formed a set of black and purple mixed armor, helmet, etc. At this time, the Ping Worker Master's aura was overwhelming. He let out a roar and immediately charged towards the incomparably huge Dream Demonic Ancestor. Demon Ancestor Dream's huge body rapidly charged towards the 3 palaces. On the ship above her head, 12 demon clan lords of the universe gathered. Look, the human has charged out. From the energy, it should be the Ping Worker Master. He's too arrogant. A Ping Worker Master actually dares to fight our Dream Demonic Ancestor? He's really looking to die. The 12 demon universe lords gathered together, leisurely watching this scene. They were extremely confident in this race war. After all, they had the strongest of the universe on their side. The start of this battle, it was better to let Dream demonic ancestor display her skills. If they joined in, she might not be happy. Rumble, in the distance, the Peng worker master fiercely swung the Yen Jun rod in his hands. The Yen Jun rod suddenly increased in size. From its previous length of tens of thousands of kilometers, it instantly became hundreds of millions of kilometers long. Moreover, the head of the Yen Jun rod carried an incomparably terrifying aura. It directly penetrated through layers of space and directly pointed at Demon Ancestor Dream's huge and meandering body. This point caused Demon Ancestor Dream to let out an ecstatic cry. Rumble! The Yen Jun rod viciously pierced into her huge body, only causing that part of her body to tremble a little. It was completely fine. I really didn't expect you humans to actually have such an absolute treasure, and it's something I've never seen before. The huge snake head looked down at the distant Ping worker master, its voice piercing through space and resounding everywhere. Even though you have the strength of a pinnacle level 6 universe lord, so what? In the primeval universe, unleashing one's strength is restricted. Even the strongest can only unleash the pinnacle of level 6. However, my god body, my armor, even if I were to receive even stronger attacks, I would still be fine, much less a mere level 6 attack. It can be said, in the primeval universe, under such restrictions, I cannot die. Ha ha. The three human teams didn't care after hearing this. Yes. To kill the strongest in the primeval universe was extremely unrealistic. However, in this battle, the human race's true target wasn't the strongest, but the universe lord. Kill! Kill! Luo Feng, who was standing on the tomb boat with the stone blade on his back, as well as the darkness lord in the distant black pyramid, both spoke at the same time. This also meant that the other two teams had made their move. Bigger! 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 The flying black pyramid continued to expand, and in the blink of an eye, it had become a towering black pyramid that was 3 light-years tall. In terms of size, Monster Ancestor Dream was like a slender silver snake beside a tower. This black pyramid that emitted endless power directly pressed down on the huge silver snake. Absolute treasure! Monster Ancestor Dream let out a shocked cry. A supreme treasure! It's another supreme treasure! The 12 demon race lords of the universe above Demon Matriarch Dream were all stunned. Previously, they were amazed that Master Ping Gong had an ultimate treasure, but now they were horrified. What? How could 2 absolute treasures appear so easily? Were these still absolute treasures? And they were the most important palaces amongst the absolute treasures. These palaces usually had sealing abilities, plus with the absolute treasure palaces, one could go to many dangerous places in the 3 danger zones. Their value was naturally high. It's really the Black Prison Pagoda, it's actually the Black Prison Pagoda. How did it end up in the hands of the humans? Monster Ancestor Dream couldn't believe it. When she saw the Black Pyramid before, she didn't think much of it. After all, there were many treasures in the shape of a pyramid, but there was only one absolute treasure in the shape of a Black Pyramid. East Emperor's Sacred Land's Black Prison Pagoda. It doesn't matter how you humans got it, this Black Prison Pagoda, my demon race will get it. Monster Ancestor Dream was filled with intense greed and desire. As the endless and majestic Black Prison Pagoda came crashing down, Demon Ancestor Dream immediately retreated. At the same time, she ordered, Demon Clan attack, attack. Seize these 2 supreme treasures first. The 12 demon universe lords who had been anxiously waiting, upon hearing this order, immediately became excited. Yes, Monster Ancestor. Yes, Monster Ancestor. We've waited for so long. These 2 absolute treasures, with them, our strength will be much stronger. The human race is really not normal. Kill, kill, kill. Get them all. The Lord of Annihilation, the Lord of the Skywolf, the Lord of the Nether Devil, all the lords of the universe of the demon race roared, howled, and hissed. They all looked different and represented the various major factions of the demon race. The 12 of them teleported almost simultaneously and charged towards the battlefield. 12 Universe Lords moving together. When the 12 Universe Lords reached the center of the battlefield, where Pringong, Darkness Lord, and Monster Ancestor Dream were fighting, the moment they appeared, they did not hesitate to attack Pringong. Demon Island Vine. 9 Worlds of Heart. Flames of Extinction. For a moment there were attacks from powerful psychic treasures, illusory realm attacks, direct soul attacks, and even giant sabers, axes, and sharp claws. The combined might of the 12 Lords of the Universe, especially under the suppression of the primeval universe, was probably even more terrifying than the attack of the strongest person in the universe. We've been waiting for you all to appear. Darkness Lord, Luo Feng, and Pringong laughed coldly at the same time, even though they were in different places. Darkness sinking. The towering black pyramid suddenly emitted waves of endless black ripples that instantly enveloped the vast area. Naturally, it also enveloped the 12 Lords of the Universe. Luo Feng, who had been standing on the tomb boat without moving, opened his 4 silver wings. Endless golden light immediately enveloped the surrounding 10 light years. Simultaneously, the pinnacle domain treasure Snow Sand Ocean was unleashed. In an instant, the entire dark space was filled with endless ice-cold white sand. The white sand and the golden light combined, forming an incredibly powerful restriction that immediately bound the 12 Universe Lords. Golden Country, Snow Sand Ocean. The two combined, immediately suppressed and expelled all the pinnacle domain treasures. Never before had a powerful domain treasure appeared. The Golden Country combined with Snow Sand Ocean was already invincible in terms of domains. Rumble. The tomb boat's speed immediately exploded, rushing straight for the 12 Universe Lords. Today was Monday. Tomato was here as usual to request for recommendation votes. With everyone's support, I'll spend a few seconds to vote for Tomato. With your support, Tomato will have endless motivation. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1297. The 12 Lords of the Universe of the Demon Race, who had just been brimming with fighting spirit and confidence, were instantly dealt a heavy blow. When the towering black pyramid floated in the sky and released waves of black ripples that spread toward them, the black ripples easily penetrated their armor and divine bodies and began to affect their souls. What's going on? It's like I'm out of energy. Willpower, I can't concentrate. The Annihilation Restriction Lord and the other Universe Lords knew things weren't good. This Darkness Oblivion was an area of effect attack. Plus it was attacking all 12 of them at once, hence, it wasn't enough to make them completely oblivion. However, the lack of energy and willpower, even if they gritted their teeth and burned their god energy to fight, they could only unleash half of their strength. No fighting spirit. Willpower is affected too. It's a very uncomfortable state. Just as they were feeling extremely uncomfortable, endless gold light and snow-white sand floated about and began to appear in the surrounding 10 light years. If Darkness Oblivion was said to affect their willpower and soul, it would greatly affect their strength. The combination of the Golden Kingdom and the Snows and Sea was a huge restriction on the material plane. It was as if countless ropes were binding each of the Lords of the Universe. It's a domain. That Luo Feng's domain. Why are his silver wings still there? Didn't he lose his silver wings in the 9th abyss? Why is he? The domain of the Universe Lords was easily crushed, and everything within 10 light years was cold, snow-white sand that wafted under boundless golden light. The shackles caused their ability to plummet once more. Darkness Oblivion, Domain Restriction. These two moves caused the 12 Universe Lords to only be able to unleash 30% of their strength, of which those like the Annihilation Restriction Lord and the others whose willpower had reached the universe's strongest level were less affected, and still had 60 to 70% of their strength. And the weaker ones like Sky Wolf only had 10% to 20% of their strength left. Peng Gong Leader, Darkness Lord, your two teams will work together to deal with the 12 Universe Lords. Luo Feng communicated through his domain. Leave Dream Demon Ancestor to my team. Alright. Alright. Peng Gong Leader and Darkness Lord immediately replied. Luo Feng stood at the front of the huge tomb boat and headed straight for the 12 Demon Universe Lords. At the same time, Demon Ancestor Dream roared and whipped her body towards the Black Prison Tower, trying to force the Lord of Darkness to stop the darkness sink. But at this moment, Luo Feng, Ancestor Dream's enormous snake head, looked at the speedily flying tomb boat. She knew the situation wasn't good. The 12 Universe Lords on her side were already greatly affected. If they were to be surrounded by Luo Feng, Peng Gong and the others, what would happen? Get lost! Its monstrous body was so huge that it could easily attack the Black Prison Pagoda, Peng Gong's master, and the grave boat. With a flick of its tail, it lashed out at the tomb boat. Come! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed as he stood on the ship. The tomb boat that was originally heading towards the 12 Universe Lords suddenly changed directions. Boom! The tomb boat fiercely expanded, 100 billion kilometers, trillions of kilometer. In an instant, it reached the same size as Ancestor Dream's body. Back in the Ice-Fire region, when he was attacked by the 5 true lords of the God Eye clan using their ultimate treasures to form the eternal true God, Luo Feng relied on the tomb boat to swiftly expand and forcefully break through the eternal true God. This tomb boat was an ancient civilization's mechanical treasure. In terms of movement, it was even stronger than the ultimate treasures. Peng, a huge ship and a huge silver snake. Both were about a light year in size. The two behemoths collided in the silent starry sky. Howl! Ancestor Dream roared. However, she quickly realized that clashing with the tomb boat was a very stupid thing to do. The tomb boat's speed didn't even decrease at all. It knocked the huge silver snake flying backwards. Luo Feng! Ancestor Dream suddenly raged. Because when the tomb boat was expanding, Luo Feng had suddenly vanished and rushed towards the distant 12 Universe Lords of the Demon Clan. His huge silver wings were like a glaring blade, whistling and rushing towards the 12 Universe Lords. Luo Feng's original plan was to deal with Meng Yao Ancestor together with the tomb boat. However, seeing that she didn't shrink her body size at all and continued to rely on her huge size to fight head-on, Luo Feng decided to rush towards the 12 Universe Lords, leaving only his god energy to control the tomb boat. The tomb boat was a machine. It was very easy to control. Duan Dong he had died long ago. Even a consciousness could control it. Luo Feng only had to provide some god energy to control it. The 12 Universe Lords of the demon race were immediately in a desperate situation. Darkness sinking, domain binding. And with Peng Industry Lord, Luo Feng and Darkness Lord all rushing over, who knew if the hidden human Universe Lords would act together when these three attacked? The opponents had absolute treasures. Especially the Black Prison Pagoda, they could completely suppress and seal them. Quickly hide inside. Hide inside the boat. The 12 Universe Lords didn't dare act rashly. They immediately hid inside the huge boat. Ancestor! 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 The 12 Universe Lords cried for help. If they fought one-on-one, they definitely wouldn't be weaker than the humans. However, who knew that the humans would have absolute treasures? Their weakness in treasures caused them to be at a disadvantage the moment they clashed. Roar! In the distance, demonic Ancestor Dream, who had just clashed with the tomb boat, was at a disadvantage. She raised her snake head and roared. She also knew that it was very stupid to be entangled with the tomb boat. Therefore, after just one clash, although she was unwilling, she immediately changed her strategy. Her divine body rapidly shrank. From a light year large, she swiftly became a 100,000 kilometers long silver snake. She became so huge earlier because she wanted to use her own strength to suppress the entire human team. And then let the 12 Universe Lords work together to wipe out the human team. However, reality mocked her. The opponent's tomb boat and black prison pagoda were equivalent to 2 absolute treasure palaces. Even she couldn't take them down. Hence, her plan from before naturally failed. So, after becoming a 100,000 kilometers long silver snake, Ancestor Dream's speed immediately soared, instantly breaking through the limit of light speed. One couldn't even see it with the naked eye. One could only rely on his god energy and domain to detect that terrifying speed. This is the strongest of the universe. Luo Feng, Peng Gong and Darkness Lord all sighed within. They already had a plan before the battle, so they didn't think it would be so easy to deal with the demons. Once Demon Progenitor Dream shrunk, with her speed that surpassed the speed of light, she would be unstoppable and unable to restrain her. She would be able to reach any key point on the battlefield immediately. Get lost! The silver snake roared and immediately rammed into the black prison pagoda. Rumble, the black prison pagoda was sent flying. Luo Feng and Peng Gong hadn't even flown to the huge ship. Too fast. Luo Feng and Peng Gong exchanged glances. After the silver snake demon Ancestor Dream was sent flying by the black prison pagoda, it hovered in mid-air. The 12 Universe Lords in the huge ship flew over one by one and landed on Demon Ancestor Dream's neck. Each of their divine bodies maintained a distance of about 10,000 kilometers. Humans! Ancestor Dream's cold gaze swept around. I've underestimated you all. However, without any of the strongest warriors in the universe, the control of the battle is in my hands. Right now, I've decided to slowly deal with you all one by one. Ancestor Dream's gaze swept around and landed on Peng Gong. The first one is you. Hua. Ancestor Dream immediately moved. Her speed was terrifyingly fast. Master Peng Gong roared, and the Yanjun cudgel in his hand suddenly expanded to a length of 1,000,000 kilometers. Then it swept out majestically. For a moment, space-time shattered, and the Yanjun cudgel directly collided with Ancestor Monster Dream's tail. Ancestor Monster Dream was sent flying backward, and so was Master Peng Gong. If we were in the cosmic sea, would you be my match? Ancestor Dream raged, attack with all your strength. Yes, Ancestor Monster. Yes. Die, Peng Gong. Die. The demon race universe lords around its neck attacked at the same time. In an instant, it was either a long-range psychic weapon attack, a large battle blade slash from afar, a soul force attack, or an illusion attack. All of them landed on Master Peng Gong's body at the same time. Darkness sinking. The black prison pagoda once again emitted endless black ripples, attempting to affect the 12 Universe Lords. Suppress. Luo Feng roared. The Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean simultaneously pressed forward. Break through all of them. Ancestor Dream roared. Immediately, the god energy in her body surged. In an instant, the surrounding space and time warped and shook. The powerful god energy shook and clashed time and time again, actually forcefully suppressing the Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean. Even the black ripples were suppressed. The 12 Universe Lords were not affected in the slightest. Bang! 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 For a time, their attacks landed on Master Peng at the same time. Although Master Peng tried his best to block the attacks with the Yanjun rod, he was still stunned. After all, when these 12 Masters of the Universe joined forces without being affected, the combat power they could display was even more terrifying than that of the strongest person in the universe. Ha ha, you are the first to fall. Ancestor Dream roared. Her speed rose to a terrifying level as she rushed towards the Peng Gong Master. She, Ancestor Dream, along with the 12 Universe Lords under her, the moment they joined forces. Even if the Peng Gong Master had the Yanjun rod, he would only be suppressed and sealed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1298. Without the strongest of the universe, you still want to fight us? Human, you're dead meat. Laughable human. On the neck of the silver serpent, the demon clan masters of the universe were attacking with all their might. They roared and roared through divine power. Clearly, all of them were in high spirit. With Ancestor Dream's help, when they unleashed their full power, so what if the opponent had an ultimate treasure? Who? Ancestor Dream flew at high speeds and swung her tail fiercely. Wah! The huge snake tail suddenly expanded, instantly becoming millions of kilometers long. It was like a huge soft whip slicing through the void. For a moment, the void seemed to be split in two. Facing the attacks of the 12 demon race masters of the universe, Master Pring could only grit his teeth and block the attack with his Yanjun rod. Pring Worker Lord tumbled and was thrown away. While he was flying, his speed surged fiercely, actually reaching light speed. In the battle before, even though Luo Feng and the others seemed to be moving at light speed, in truth, they were still a sliver away from true light speed. Now Peng Worker Lord had broken through that sliver and entered light speed. Immediately he was transported into the dark universe. You're here. The Master of Darkness smiled. Let's go. Luo Feng said too. The two swiftly broke through the sliver and immediately entered the dark universe. Dark universe? Ancestor Dream was already 10 million kilometers long. Floating in space, the many demon race leaders were like tiny specks on her body. Escaping to the dark universe is useless. Ancestor, we can't give the humans a chance. Kill them. Ancestor Dream no longer resisted the dark universe's pull, easily leaving the actual universe and entering the dark universe. Virtual universe, at the long stone table in front of the huge Axe God Palace, many universe lords were seated. Of course, Greytack's seat was empty. Luo Feng and the others were all here. Even though they were battling. However, they were able to communicate through the virtual universe and coordinate with each other. We've already felt Ancestor Dream's power and know how strong the strongest of the universe is. We're more confident, Peng Worker Lord said. If we get surrounded a few more times by Ancestor Dream and the 12 demon race leaders, I won't be able to take it. The strongest experts of the universe are really hard to deal with. The Lord of Darkness frowned. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed powerful. The strongest person in the universe was, after all, an existence of a higher level. The primeval universe had restrictions on them. Firstly, they could only maintain their divine power at the level of a lord of the universe with 10,000 times their genes. Secondly, their attack power was limited to the pinnacle of level 6. Thirdly, they would be punished for killing a lord of the universe. Fourthly, they would be stripped of their ability to obey the laws of the primeval universe. However, there were some auxiliary methods, such as using 10,000 times genetic god power and flying techniques of the universe's strongest experts to increase their speed to an extremely fast speed. Because the speed was 10 times or 100 times the speed of light, the impact produced was not at the pinnacle of the 6th level combat power, so it would not be restricted. For example, resisting the attraction of the dark universe. They were all supplementary methods. It was precisely because of these auxiliary methods that the universe's strongest experts were extremely difficult to deal with. Other experts could travel close to the speed of light in the original universe. Once they reached that speed, they would be transferred to the dark universe. However, the strongest experts in the universe could travel at 10 times or even 100 times the speed of light and still roam freely in the original universe. This was capability. We should make our move now, Darkness Lord said solemnly. From start to finish, I've only been controlling the Black Prison Pagoda and unleashing a group attack, Darkness Oblivion. I haven't even truly attacked yet. We haven't even attacked yet. The Dragon Travel Lord, the Desolate Mirror Lord, the Void Gold Lord, and the Green East Lord all shouted in anticipation. I haven't even attacked yet. Luo Feng smiled. He was the same as Darkness, only using auxiliary methods and not truly attacking. Project Peng Lord laughed too. The group of Universe Lords all laughed. Yes, up till now, the human race had yet to show their strength. In the entire war plan, this battle with the demon race was just the first wave. 1. It was to shock the other powers. 2. They wanted to use this battle to understand the strength of the strongest in the universe. This way they would have more experience in the future. Hence, from the start, they had to show weakness. However, after 1 or 2 rounds of showing weakness, Luo Feng and the others had already understood how difficult it was to deal with the strongest in the universe. Since they understood, that was enough. Cripple them. Project Peng Lord smiled. Make them afraid. Make the demon race regret it. Everybody kill. 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 The 15 silhouettes sitting at the table couldn't wait any longer. Within the Dark Universe, Project Peng Lord, Luo Feng, Black Prison Pagoda and Tomb Boat appeared one after another. Even though they were rather far apart in the actual universe, in the Dark Universe, they were all close together. Because the Dark Universe was originally much smaller than the actual universe, the coordinates were tens of millions of times. Before, they were less than 100 million kilometers apart. However, in the Dark Universe, Luo Feng and Project Peng Lord were less than 10 kilometers apart. To them, how small of a distance was that? Luo Feng waved his hand and the tomb boat was kept. Luo Feng, Project Peng Lord and Darkness Lord, the 3 stood shoulder to shoulder in the Dark Universe space. Of course they were all moving slowly, because the moment the Dark Universe stopped, it would automatically transfer them to the actual universe. In this vast space, there were countless firefly-like specks of light floating around. They're here, Luo Feng said. Humph, demon race. Project Peng Lord laughed coldly. The Master of Darkness looked on coldly. Rumble, the huge silver snake with 12 Universe Lords on its neck appeared in space ahead. It was no more than 10 kilometers away from Luo Feng. The distance was obviously very short. With a simple sweep of its tail, it would be able to touch Luo Feng and the others. The huge silver snake's cold eyes swept across and said hoarsely, "You all have been fighting in the actual universe before. I thought you all didn't want to enter the Dark Universe." Haha, demon ancestor dream. Luo Feng's 4 wings flapped and he laughed. In this Dark Universe, one's speed can easily break through light speed, there's no limit to it. This way, your advantage is obviously much smaller. Why wouldn't we enter? You're so strong, do you think we'll just let you trample on us? Much smaller advantage? How arrogant! How can your speed compare to mine? The huge silver snake roared. I'll let you know, even in the Dark Universe, you still have no choice but to lose. What? The huge silver snake's speed suddenly soared. It was extremely fast. In an instant, its speed far exceeds ours. No wonder it can break through light speed in the actual universe. Luo Feng exclaimed within. Get ready. Give them a vicious blow. Cripple them in one move. Cripple them. Luo Feng and the others watched as Dream Demon Ancestor charged over, feeling excited within. Ancestor Demon Dream's enormous snake body whistled as it drew a huge arc in the air with its tail, whipping towards Luo Feng, Lord of Darkness and Lord of Peng workers. The demon clan lords standing on its neck also launched their attacks at the same time. In an instant, attacks that covered the skies and land all descended. Luo Feng, Darkness and Pring Gong were not only unafraid, their eyes were burning with excitement. Rumble, the Black Prison Pagoda appeared in mid-air before Darkness Lord. Under the control of Darkness Lord's godly energy, the entire Black Prison Pagoda spun and countless engravings appeared on its surface. In an instant, light flowed and the engravings transformed into black light that continuously gathered at the tip of the Black Prison Pagoda, causing the Black Pagoda to turn from black to an extremely shocking and dense black color, after which it seemed to turn into nothingness and then into a glaring white. The black pyramid, the glaring white light emitted from the tip. A white afterimage streaked across the sky and directly collided with Demon Ancestor Dream's body that was whipping over, causing Demon Ancestor Dream's huge body to tumble backward. "Kill!" the Master of Darkness shouted. Immediately, the figures of the Qingdong Master and the others appeared beside him. "Kill!" Luo Feng roared too. Beside him appeared the silhouettes of the Ice Peak leader and the others. "Kill!" Master Pengtian roared in rage. Lord of Void Gold and the others also appeared. Boom! The 12 Universe Lords along with Luo Feng, Peng Gong and the Darkness Lord rushed over. Even though Luo Feng's team had a total of 12 members, some of them brought their clones, hence there were 16 of them following Luo Feng's team. As for the demon race, as they had to fully focus on unleashing their ultimate moves during battle, the moment they split their attention, it would affect their strength greatly. Therefore, the demon race only had one clone and did not bring any. Humans, on the other hand, had been forced into desperate strait. They had no choice but to bring their clones with them. "Kill!" Demon Ancestor Dream, who was knocked flying by the Black Prison Pagoda, encountered the terrifying Yanjun Rod almost at the same time. The Yanjun Rod directly chopped down vertically. It was as if the dark universe had been split apart. Pung! Although Demon Forefather Dream resisted with all her might, she still fell down rapidly. This strike even caused the Lords of the Universe who had been standing on top of her to fall. Ice Seal. Nightmare. Annihilation of 10,000 realms. Dragon moves my heart. Though it was described slowly, it was actually extremely fast. Just as Demon Ancestor Dream was struck by the Black Prison Pagoda and Peng Gong's Yanjun Rod, the two lightning-fast strikes caused the Demon Race Universe Lords to break free from her body. The Human Universe Lords who had been silent all this while were all raging, unleashing their own techniques that they were proud of. They covered the sky and land as they attacked. Especially after losing the protection of Demon Ancestor Dream, the Golden Kingdom and Snow and Sand Sea were pressuring and restricting him at the same time. In addition, the human masters of the universe were crazily attacking him from all directions. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Peng Gong and Darkness Lord looked ahead at Luo Feng. Demon Race. Luo Feng's forewings spread. His speed in the dark universe had long since soared. Plus the distance was already very close, and with the human race's earth-shattering attacks, Darkness and Peng Gong had already attacked the other 12 Universe Lords too, and he was the last link. Luo Feng's hand immediately reached for the Blood Shadow Blade on his back. Blood Shadow Blade, this is the first time you've unsheathed it. Demon Race, Hua, along with an extremely glaring light, the Blood Shadow Blade was unsheathed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1299. It was fine if the humans didn't explode, but once they did, it was like a thunderbolt, causing Demon Ancestor Dream and the 12 Lords of the Universe to feel frightened and angry. Peng Gong Lord, Darkness Lord, Human Universe Lord, Milky Way Leader Luo Feng. These 4 rings came one after the other. In Meng Ancestor's eyes, she felt that the Peng Gong Lord and Darkness Lord were hard to deal with, and guessed that Luo Feng would be very powerful after receiving the inheritance. However, she thought that even if he received the inheritance, he would still have to train step by step. However, when she fell down and saw Luo Feng pull out his Blood Shadow Blade, she knew. She was wrong. He was ridiculously wrong. Darkness, Peng Gong, Luo Feng. The most terrifying of these 3 wasn't the first 2, but Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Meng Ancestor fiercely waved her tail, using all her strength to counteract the 2 attacks from before, wanting to charge forward. However, Luo Feng had already pulled out his blade. This blade was the most important weapon of the East Breaking River inheritance, the embryo. It was a true treasure that could allow the inheritor to reach the pinnacle. Even without using any god energy, just the blade itself could reach the pinnacle of level 5 power. Its terror wasn't known to the Universe C, and this was the first time it revealed its power. Nirvana rebirth, Luo Feng said softly. As the blood shadow blade was pulled out of its sheath, the endless blade light actually grew explosively, from the hair-thin blade light when it first came out of its sheath, to the moment it engulfed the 12 demon universe lords. It formed countless blade lights that covered the sky and land, actually condensing into a huge black ball. The black ball was like a miniature universe. It enveloped the 12 demon universe lords. Within the black ball, the 12 demon universe lords were engulfed by the endless and terrifying blade lights. Not good. No. We have to stop and not move. Stop. We can return to the actual universe. Unfortunately, this blade was too fast. All the blade lights within the black ball instantly underwent a mysterious transformation, becoming a very ordinary-looking thin light. All the saber lights in the dark ball underwent a mysterious change in an instant, turning into a seemingly ordinary thin brilliance. Hua! The black sphere cracked open, and a thin ray of light flashed. It was like a blade that was as thin as a cicada's wing. With a flash, it cut open the universe. The black sphere completely dissipated into nothingness, leaving only a thin, dazzling golden brilliance that flashed and disappeared, leaving a visible mark in the dark universe's void for a long time. Ah! No. Pained howls resounded from within the group of demon universe lords. Their eyes were all filled with shock and rage. They looked in disbelief at the distant human Milky Way leader Luo Feng. The other experts in the outside world might not know, but they, who had been there, knew very well how terrifying that blade was. That saber. First, it was blocked by the Lord of Extermination, who was the strongest. He instantly lost 20% of his divine body. Then, it swept past the weaker Lord of the Locusts. A crack appeared on the Lord of the Locusts' peak-grade armor. The Lord of the Locusts' body was instantly annihilated. Then, it swept past the Lord of the Heavenly Wolf and the others, 12 demon race universe lords and 1 universe lord perished. 3 of the universe lords were heavily injured, while the others were lightly injured. If a few more slashes, wouldn't I be sliced in half? Even Pring Gong's powerful god rod isn't that terrifying. It's too sharp. That blade slashed past me, and even an extremely sharp energy pierced through my armor and into my divine body, causing me to lose 16% of my divine body. That blade was too condensed and too sharp. Even after being weakened by the armor, it didn't disperse at all. They all felt fear. Normally, if an attack was blocked by an armor, the force would be dispersed throughout the body, allowing the body to bear the brunt of it. However, Luo Feng's the energy of the blade itself was gathered at the tip. The force was extremely condensed, and Luo Feng's blade technique was created by himself. Especially after going through the blood shadow blade, it was even sharper. Actual universe. Return to the actual universe. Quickly. The demon race universe lords all stopped in their tracks. Can you escape? After Luo Feng unleashed this blade, his speed came to a sudden halt. They all vanished one by one. The human Peng Gong Lord, Darkness Lord and the group of Universe Lords all did the same. As for Meng Yao Ancestor's reaction was naturally extremely fast, stopping almost at the same time as Luo Feng. In the silent space, the demon race and the human race majestically appeared at almost the same time. A vast golden country and endless white sand floated about, illuminating the endless space. Luo Feng was the owner of this country. Flee! Demon Ancestor! Demon Ancestor! The demon race universe lords were filled with hatred. If they weren't affected, how could they not be Luo Feng's match? However, after being affected by the domain earlier, and being surrounded by the 16 human universe lords, they were suddenly hit by Luo Feng's slash. They couldn't fully deal with it. Hence they were in such a tragic state. Even with the 12 demon leaders working together, one still fell. Right now they were all injured, some light, some heavy. Under the restriction, how could they be Luo Feng's match? Luo Feng, Demon Meng Yao ancestor roared from afar. Luo Feng glanced from afar. Wielding the blood shadow blade, he waved it again. Demon ancestor? Before in the Dark Universe, Meng Yao ancestor was sent flying. Maybe in the Dark Universe, the distance between her and the demon leaders wasn't too far. However, in the actual universe, the distance was over 10 million times. Immediately it became incredibly far. Even with Meng Yao ancestor's terrifying speed, she still had to fly for a while. And he himself had always been close to the demon leaders. Like the other universe lords on his side, including the Darkness Lord, they were all very close. Because the other universe lords had always been attacking the demon race in the Dark Universe. The Darkness Lord was only controlling the Black Prison Pagoda. He himself was with the Desolate Mirror Master and Qing Dong Master. Only the Peng Gong Master was slightly further away from him because he was fighting with Meng Yao ancestor. Demon race, within the demon ancestor's secret region. A majestic huge sawtooth beast was entrenched in space. It didn't move at all, almost like it was in deep sleep. The space around it rippled and warped. Dream T's call for help? The sawtooth beast suddenly opened its eyes, which gleamed with a golden light. Rumble. With a teleportation, he entered the God Country. After which he used the God Country to teleport towards his destination. Luo Feng completely ignored the distant Meng Yao ancestor, who couldn't disturb him in a short period of time. Wielding the blood shadow blade, he slashed out once more. Wah, a beauty that could steal one's soul. The blade light rose. At first it was just a thread, but as it got thicker and thicker, it covered the skies and land. Endless blade lights immediately formed a huge black miniature universe. It completely enveloped the demon universe lords once again. Immediately afterward, the black miniature universe split open and a thin, resplendent golden light flashed. A very, very thin spatial rift appeared in the surrounding starry sky. This spatial rift even cut through the countless spatial fragments in the spatial rift. Darkness, retract the net. Luo Feng communicated mentally. I've been waiting for this moment. Darkness Lord looked up at the space. Rumble. When the black miniature universe dissipated, the group that had been prepared worked together. Especially the two strongest at the pinnacle of the level 5 demon clan leaders held on, allowing the group of universe lords to survive this calamity. Even though they were injured, and all of them were heavily injured, they managed to survive that terrifying blade light. However, before they could even take a breather, an incomparably huge black pyramid appeared above them. Get in. Darkness Lord used all his strength to control the floating black prison pagoda. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The human race's 12 lords of the universe had a total of 16 godly bodies, and they were all frantically attacking the demon race lords of the universe. This caused the demon race lords of the universe to be thrown into chaos. The devouring power of the ultimate treasure was too strong. One had to know that against Lord Yuanao, just the ultimate palace treasure's devouring power was enough. Finally, Yuan Ao Lord decided to self-destruct. However, this time, it was an ultimate treasure palace, and the demon universe lords were simultaneously attacked by a large group of universe lords. Plus Luo Feng's attack from before had injured them, plus the pressure from the Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean. Many of them had less than 10% of their original strength. Their god bodies were left with 50% or 10% of their original strength. At this time, over 3 of them had their god bodies weakened to less than 50%. Hide in the palace treasure. Hide. Block. Quickly flee. After suffering from all sorts of soul attacks and illusions, the weakened demon universe lords were in chaos. Some even fell into illusions and couldn't break out in a short period of time. So, of the 11 monstrous race lords of the universe, 3 of them entered the palace treasure that the Lord of Annihilation had taken out. But in the chaotic battle, not everyone was able to achieve the most perfect situation. With 2 streams of light, the 2 monstrous race lords of the universe were rapidly sucked into the black jail pagoda above. No. Stop them! Stop them! Several of the stronger universe lords tried to stop them. However, at this time, a flash of blade light flashed once more. No! It could only make some of the demon universe lords roar unwillingly. In the distance, demon ancestor Dream, who was rushing over at high speed, was even more furious when she saw this scene. She roared. This time, they were here to deal with the humans. They wanted to capture a group of human masters of the universe and force the humans to hand over their legacies. However, they didn't expect that before they could capture a single human universe lord, they had already lost 1 and captured 2. Humans! Monster Ancestor Dream roared. Sky Wolf Master, Mohan Master. In the distance, Luo Feng smiled and muttered these 2 names. The 2 universe lords that were sucked into the black prison pagoda were these 2. I've finished 2 chapters for today. Tomorrow is the 5th chapter. For the upcoming 5th chapter, everyone please vote for me. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1300. Within the black prison pagoda, in a silent space filled with endless black mist, 2 afterimages were quickly sucked in. One was the rolling heavenly wolf, and the other was the unique beast with 3 tails, a scaled body and a triangular head, the Ink Hut beast. One was the master of the heavenly wolf, and the other was the master of the Ink Hut. They were the true ancestor-like figures of the 2 great clans in the Demon Clan, but at this moment they were imprisoned. Not good. The Sky Wolf leader blinked, waking up from the illusion and roaring. The Mohan leader beside was anxious too. Sky Wolf, what do? We're locked in that absolute treasure black prison pagoda. The Mohan leader was anxious. Black prison pagoda. The Sky Wolf leader looked around anxiously. The space ripples were completely isolated from the outside world. Teleportation? God country teleportation? Don't even think of escaping. I don't have a clone. The Sky Wolf leader was anxious. It's over. This was a nightmare. Not just them, even the strongest warriors of the universe wouldn't have any chance of escaping once they were locked in the absolute treasure palace. If they had a clone it would be fine, however whether it was the Sky Wolf leader or the Mohan leader, their positions amongst the monster universe lords weren't high, hence they didn't have a clone either. If they had a clone, their positions would naturally be different. Even if they were locked in the absolute treasure palace, those with a clone could immediately self-destruct. This way, even though they would lose their own treasures, at least they would be able to keep their lives. Wait. The Sky Wolf leader roared, we'll wait for a chance. Ancestor Meng is still outside, we still have a chance. I believe Ancestor Zhen will rush over soon. When that time comes we'll just have to steal the black prison pagoda from the humans and we'll be able to escape. Right. The Mohan leader couldn't think of any other way, this was the only one. Ancestor Meng, Ancestor Zhen, they'll definitely save us. No! Damn! As the monster universe lords roared, Ancestor Meng, who was flying over at high speed, roared furiously. Their enemies, the humans, were naturally elated. Peng Worker Leader, Darkness Leader, Luo Feng, along with a large group of universe lords, all laughed, their hearts filled with happiness. The basic goal has been achieved. We've already killed 1 universe lord and captured 2 universe lords. The ones we captured are the Sky Wolf Lord and the Mohan Lord who don't have clones. They won't even be able to escape. Within the virtual universe, Peng Gong Master said excitedly. Over the course of countless years, it's rare for a Lord of the universe to perish. Today, the demon folk have lost 3 of their own. Once the news spreads, the smaller factions that are far weaker than the demon folk will naturally be terrified. We were able to cause them to lose 3 lords of the universe in front of the strongest experts like Demon Ancestor Dream of the Demon Clan. In that case, it would be easy for us to deal with some small forces. Yes. The basic goal has been achieved. Now, kill and capture as many as you want. The more you kill and capture, the better the effect will be. Luo Feng, Peng Gong and Darkness were all excited. Humanity had the Black Prison Pagoda, the Yanjun Rod, plus Luo Feng's treasures. As a result, the entire race had 3 rank 6 lords of the universe. Although they were at a disadvantage in terms of movement speed, if they fought as a whole, they would still have a certain advantage against the demon race. However, Luo Feng and the others were very clear, breaking the East River inheritance. It was destined to attract the other powers. Humanity didn't just have to face the demon clan alone. Hence, the pressure on humanity was huge. Just one demon ancestor dream was already so terrifying. What if 3 came? 5 of the strongest in the universe? This time, even Peng Gong might be suppressed and sealed. No matter what the outcome of this war is, Luo Feng thought. From the start, I have to give it my all. This war with the demon clan is just the first battle. It's also a shock and awe battle. I have to perform to the best of my abilities. That way, the other powers won't be in a rush to act. If the humans were weak, the other powers were afraid of the humans being quickly defeated and forced to submit. They were afraid that if they were late, there would be no benefit. Instead, they would rush up and attack. And the humans were terrifying. Firstly, these powers weren't willing to pay a huge price. Secondly, they weren't worried about the Demon Clan, Automaton Clan and Bug Clan defeating the humans in a short period of time. Naturally, they would watch from the side. As long as they gave the humans a chance to breathe, then everything would be possible. After all, regarding the Universe Lord to the strongest, Luo Feng had already explained it to every Universe Lord. Who knows, at a crucial moment, Darkness Lord, Peng Gong Lord or Primal Chaos City Leader would break through. The moment they did, then the humans' chances would be much higher. If I can break through to the Universe Lord level, the situation will be very different. Luo Feng thought. Right now, I only have my Earth body and the golden horned beast with extremely strong battle strength. However, the moment I break through to the Universe Lord level, the Masha clansmen, Ocean Clone, they will all have level 6 battle strength. When that happens, the situation of our human race will greatly improve. Pinnacle of level 6. In the primal universe, that was already the strongest. To reach the pinnacle of level 6 was very difficult. Normally, one would need a pinnacle of level 5 Universe Lord and an ultimate treasure to do so. Humanity only had a total of 3 pinnacle level 5 Universe Lord: Darkness, Peng Gong and Primal Chaos. Hence, even with another 2 or 3 ultimate treasures, if given to the Ice Peak Leader or Dragon Leader, they wouldn't be able to unleash the pinnacle of level 6 power. Just like back then when Luo Feng's origin law comprehension was still lacking, even with the Star Pagoda, he could only unleash a small portion of his power. Warriors, treasures, both couldn't be left out. Only then would he be able to form a level 6 battle strength. Luo Feng was different. He had created Nirvana Rebirth, the strongest level technique in the universe. Without an ultimate treasure, he could unleash the pinnacle of level 6 battle strength. Ancestor Dream is coming. Old bastard. The humans all noticed the incomparably terrifying speed that was rushing over. I'll block her, Luo Feng said. Peng Gong, Darkness, continue to deal with the group of Universe Lords and work hard to capture a few more. All right. Peng Gong and Darkness had seen Luo Feng's strength earlier and were confident. The 4 silver wings on Luo Feng's back fiercely expanded. They seemed to cover half of the starry sky as he hovered in space. He held the blood shadow blade in his hand as he watched Dream Demon Ancestor charging at him at an extremely high speed. At this moment, Dream Demon Ancestor seemed to have gone crazy as she let out a furious and sharp roar. Luo Feng! Go! Luo Feng's thoughts move. Rumble! A huge tomb boat appeared out of nowhere in the air. The tomb boat collided with Demon Ancestor Dream, who couldn't slow down in time. As the tomb boat had just been taken out, its internal energy had just been activated, hence it was pushed back a little. Luo Feng immediately waved his hand and kept the tomb boat. Despicable human! Ancestor Dream madly charged at Luo Feng after colliding. She was simply too furious. Hua! Ancestor Dream's snake head fiercely opened its mouth. Xiao! A green silhouette pierced through the sky and headed towards Luo Feng. Hu! The blood shadow blade in Luo Feng's hand also instantly swung out, forming an extremely thin blade light. Following that, it became thicker and thicker, directly forming a huge black miniature universe that enveloped the green illusion. After that, the miniature universe split open, a thin beam of light flashed, and the green illusion quickly flew back into demonic Ancestor Dream's mouth. The two only exchanged blows once. Ancestor Dream stared at Luo Feng. What a powerful blade technique, an ultimate treasure. Ancestor Dream was pondering on how to deal with Luo Feng. She realized that Luo Feng's blade light had terrifying penetrative power. If the Yen Jun Rod's power lies in the word heavy, then Luo Feng's blade lies in the word sharp. It was too sharp. Luo Feng's 4 silver wings spread open and he looked at Ancestor Dream. The pinnacle of the level 6 was indeed the limit of the primal universe. When I unleashed Nirvana Rebirth, I could already feel a slight obstruction. Luo Feng thought, I didn't expect this pinnacle of the level 6 restriction to not only affect the universe's strongest. It also affects the Universe Knights and Universe Lord. Before this, the entire primal universe didn't have a single level 6 Universe Lord. Even if there were absolute treasures, they were all held by the universe's strongest. At this time, Luo Feng, Darkness and Pringong were all level 6. The three of them could feel the obstruction. Yes. The pinnacle of the level 6 restriction is used by the primal universe's will to suppress the universe's strongest, preventing them from wantonly slaughtering. Luo Feng thought, however, it's not to the point where they're weaker than Universe Lords. Hence, even Universe Lords can only unleash the pinnacle of the level 6. There were many rumors before, but there was no proof. Luo Feng, Darkness and Pringong had all reached the pinnacle of the level 6, only then could they clearly feel that they couldn't break through, because the moment they got close, they would feel an extremely strong obstruction. A true Universe Lord, pinnacle of the level 6 is indeed the theoretical limit. Luo Feng thought, the primal universe's decision wasn't wrong. However, I am different from them, I'm the one at a disadvantage. Generation after generation of rebirth, finally Luo Feng, this special being, because he acquired the Duan Dong River's inheritance. Hence, there was the Blood Shadow Blade. This Blood Shadow Blade allowed him to unleash an even higher level of strength. The third generation ancestor created annihilation. The moment it was unleashed, it could raise his strength again. Hence, if there was no obstruction, if Luo Feng really went all out and used annihilation, he could unleash a level 7 strength, the strongest in the Universe C's most normal universe. If he reached the Universe Lord level, he could unleash a level 8 strength. It was a pity, even though the primal universe suppressed the universe's strongest, it wouldn't suppress them to the point where they were weaker than the Universe Lords. After all, Demon Ancestor Dream, in the Universe C, had close to level 8 strength. In the primal universe, she could only be at the pinnacle of the level 6. Human, you despicable bastard, if we were in the Universe C, would you be my match? Demon Ancestor Dream roared. Luo Feng wielded the Blood Shadow Blade and laughed coldly. Back then, Demon God Su Jin said this to the two-faced Ancestor God too, it's a pity this is the primal universe. Just as Luo Feng and Dream Demon Ancestor clashed, in the distance, the group of Universe Lords surrounded by the demon race suddenly erupted with a terrifying energy. Beside the demon race Annihilation Forbidden Lord, within the palace treasure, a beast with a sawtooth shell slowly crawled out. Demon Ancestor! The Demon Race Universe Lords immediately shouted excitedly. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1301. The group of Demon Universe Lords were all extremely excited when they saw the appearance of the Demon Ancestor Jin. He had appeared, they were saved. Demon Ancestor! Demon Ancestor! They all shouted, simultaneously trying their best to defend against the attacks of the humans. They were too pitiful. Luo Feng's blade earlier in the Dark Universe had already killed one of them, scaring them into retreating back to the actual universe. However, the moment they did so, the distance between them and Meng Yao Ancestor grew even further. Boom! Patriarch Zhen Yao slowly moved, his cold eyes sweeping across the human side. At the same time, powerful divine power began to appear on the surface of his body. The divine power evaporated, forming small mutated beasts. These mutated beasts, formed from the evaporating and burning divine power, roared and roared as they resisted the collective attack of the human universe masters. At the same time, countless turbulent waves appeared in the vast starry sky. This was the peak-level domain-type treasure, the vast water river. The moment these black waves appeared, they were crushed by the Golden Kingdom and the snowy sand sea. Demon Ancestor Zhen's cold gaze turned fiercely towards the distance. In the distance, a huge silver pair of wings spread out, almost covering half of the space. The owner of the wings was the human youth. He turned and glanced at the Demon Ancestor Zhen. Demon Ancestor Zhen, this is my territory. If you don't have a powerful domain treasure, don't take it out to embarrass yourself. Luo Feng, Demon Forefather Zhen was entrenched there, while the severely injured demon race lords of the universe fled into the palace treasures at the side. They didn't dare to flee before. They were afraid that the palace treasures would be absorbed into the black prison pagoda. If that happened, they would be wiped out. However, now that the Demon Ancestor Zhen had appeared, the injured universe lords could naturally enter and recover their strength. After all, to deal with this battle, they had all prepared precious treasures to deal with the danger. As long as they were willing to pay the price, they could easily recover in a short period of time. Luo Feng, didn't you lose your wings? Demon Ancestor Zhen looked at Luo Feng. He wasn't anxious at all. I've regained it, can't I? Luo Feng smiled. Of course you can. To be able to obtain the inheritance of Duandong River, naturally he's not normal. Demon Ancestor Zhen said casually. On the surface, he seemed relaxed. However, he was observing the situation. No matter what, the Demon Universe Lords were all temporarily hiding. He and Meng Yao Ancestor were in no danger. Naturally he could observe clearly. Absolute Treasure Black Prison Pagoda. The controller is Darkness Leader? Darkness Leader is actually a human. Demon Ancestor Zhen swiftly observed and was shocked. Darkness Leader, Peng Gong, Luo Feng. There were actually 3 Pinnacle Level 6 warriors. One had to know that in the primeval universe, Peak Type 6 combat strength was already the strongest. My wings are in my hands, and the control of my domain is in my hands. Are you disappointed? Luo Feng stood in mid-air, his voice piercing through his domain, resounding throughout. Peng Worker Darkness, let's work together and let that old bastard see how powerful we humans are. Luo. Kill! The human side laughed loudly. They didn't hold back. Peng Gong immediately rushed forward. Darkness Leader 2 controlled the Black Prison Pagoda. The power of the Black Prison Pagoda grew explosively. Very quickly, it became a glaring white and emitted a white light. The entire Black Prison Pagoda became a beam of white light and smashed towards Demon Ancestor Zhen. Kill! Destroy this old Demon Ancestor. Smash his outer shell. The other 12 human masters of the universe launched their attacks together. In an instant, the human side was bombarded with attack. In the distance, Meng Yao Ancestor, who was being blocked by Luo Feng, was enraged. Even though Demon Ancestor Zhen's defense could easily block them, he could only unleash the pinnacle level 6 strength. Being surrounded like this naturally meant he was being trampled on. Despicable human! Meng Yao roared, her speed soaring. Shua! She wanted to go around Luo Feng. Her speed was simply too fast. Luo Feng couldn't rely on his speed to block her. Ping! The huge silver wings that covered half of the starry sky suddenly flapped and turned into a huge saber radiance. The saber radiance instantly swept through the space-time and turned into a black miniature universe that enveloped Demon Ancestor Dream. The black miniaturized universe suddenly exploded. A huge silver snake easily rushed out of the black miniature universe. You want to stop me without using a powerful treasure? Meng Yao Ancestor's huge snake head looked coldly at Luo Feng. Simultaneously it became a blur, and knocked open the silver wings and rushed towards Demon Ancestor Zhen. My god energy is still weaker. Luo Feng shook his head. It's obviously the strongest level blade technique of the universe. The Wu Slaying Wings power is weaker. Hence, it can only unleash the pinnacle level 5 strength. Shua! With a flap of his wings, Luo Feng flew over. Demon Ancestor Zhen and Meng Yao Ancestor immediately gathered. It was a giant silver snake and a strange beast with a sawtooth shell. The two of them were entrenched in the air. No matter how the humans surrounded them, the two of them could easily block it. Their defense is too strong. Meng Yao Ancestor has an absolute treasure armor. Even though that Demon Ancestor Zhen doesn't have one, he's naturally good at defense. Especially in the Primal Universe, Pinnacle Level 6 attacks, he doesn't even need an absolute treasure to easily block them. The humans swiftly realized the problem. Fight. No matter how they fought, they would be fine. And the moment they wanted to escape with their speed, they could easily do so. Within the virtual universe, in front of the huge axe shrine. What do we do? Those two old monsters are the strongest in the universe. We can't do anything to them. I think we should retreat. We've already achieved our goal this time. We've killed one universe lord and captured two of them. The demon race has suffered such a huge loss. As long as the news gets out, it'll be enough to shock the weaker powers. It'll also be enough to make the Prison Clan, Crystal Clan and the strongest solitary warriors not rush to act. Retreat? The masters of the universe sitting at the long table had solemn expressions on their faces as they expressed their opinions one by one. Tombboat, Luo Feng suddenly said. Immediately there was silence. Luo Feng, are we going to use this move? Pring Gong Lord hesitated. Darkness Lord hesitated too. And the other universe lords were suspicious. They didn't understand what Luo Feng meant by the tombboat. One had to know that the tombboat was a ship. It didn't have any means to attack the outside world. Only by allowing enemies to enter the boat would it have many means of attack. However, in the entire Universe C, who didn't know how terrifying the tombboat was, nobody would be stupid enough to enter. Luo Feng? Ice Peak Lord asked curiously. Luo Feng has a trump card. Darkness Lord said directly. Junior, you'll know in a while. Luo Feng, you think we really have to use it now? Why not wait until the next wave to deal with the other powers? If we can use it now, we can use it next time too. Luo Feng said directly. What's more, even if the demon race suffers a huge loss, the humans won't tell the automaton and bug race about this trump card. After all, if they suffer a loss, they'll probably want the other races to suffer as well. Darkness Lord and Pring Gong Lord nodded. What do we do? Pring Gong Lord asked. The demon race's universe lords are currently hiding in the Pinnacle Palace treasures. There's nothing we can do. Hide and let them come out again. Luo Feng said directly. Darkness Lord and Pring Gong Lord glanced at each other. Everyone listen well. Darkness Lord said directly. The battle is about to begin, when the experts of the human race split a bit of their consciousness to communicate and plan in the virtual universe. The moment Demon Ancestor Dream and Demon Ancestor Jin gathered, the two of them also communicated for a very short period of time. Very soon, the two old ancestors finally made their move. Go! Zhen Yao sat there and roared softly. Immediately a huge black awl appeared in mid-air. This was Zhen Yao's ultimate treasure, the domain-shattering awl. This awl was similar to the tip of his tail. Normally in the Universe C, this awl would be fused into the tip of his tail. This way, it could extend and form armor to protect the body. Secondly, close combat was his forte. And now, to speed up the battle, he used the awl as a spirit weapon treasure. The awl howled, causing space to shatter and form a huge tornado-like storm in space. This was a huge black tornado. It was extremely fast. The awl howled and clashed with the black prison pagoda. Purring! The black prison pagoda tumbled and retreated. The awl, however, drew an arc, and after dissipating the impact, it headed straight for Peng Gong Lord. Damn humans! Dream Yao's huge snake head suddenly opened its mouth. Xiao! A green silhouette flew out and headed for Peng Gong Lord. Block it! Block that all! The group of Universe Lords on the human side attacked at the same time, their attacks landing on the frightening domain-shattering awl. But even so, the domain-shattering awl and the cyan blur arrived before Peng Gong at almost the same time. Although Peng Gong tried his best to block the attack, he was still sent flying by the attack. Destroy! A green silhouette and a black tornado. The two simultaneously swept towards the 12 human masters of the universe and the Lord of Darkness. The Lord of Darkness hurriedly controlled the black prison pagoda to fly over. Boom! The black prison pagoda did its best to block the green phantom, while the domain-shattering awl formed a black tornado that swept towards the human masters of the universe. Block it! Hide at the back! All of them tried their best to resist. Fortunately, including the Lord of Darkness, there were a total of 17 Lord of the Universe divine bodies. They attacked at the same time and forcefully blocked the power of the green phantom. Only the Iceberg Lord, who was at the forefront, was injured. The green silhouette finally stopped. It was actually a peculiar green awl. Retreat! Go! Retreat! At the side of the Black Pyramid, the human race's masters of the universe all flew into the Black Prison Pagoda, including the Master of Darkness. So. The Black Pyramid, Peng Gong Lord and Luo Feng became 3 beams of light and immediately retreated. *****, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.